poison, I can get it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop.
I broke my phone, I know I
I'm
did.
just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop.
Oh. On my Maine Coon, look at the fucking W, man. Oh, damn, whatever.
I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop.
Alright, so this test. Let's find out if they're gonna tell us anything about this shooting. If they don't tell us anything now, but tomorrow they won't even mention it. I'm gonna open this whole fucking bunch of shootings. The fucking cops busy. But it shows we can organize, work on a schedule and coordinate. Long shootings on one day of the week. It's like the grocery store. One designated shooter, come on, once a week. One shoot people intend to shoot.
I'm just dealing with my poison, I get it, it's so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I get it, it's so whoop. So whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I get it, it's so whoop. So whoop.
Pretty picture, so please let me describe it with as few words as possible. It's an ugly Holocaust hospital. They're all policemen will accost you and the orderlies will cost you. Flutist. Just a bad toss. You like hospital food? You want to live the rest of your life in the fucking locker. Running through your neighborhood at quick so free. Running through the battleground, the wild streets, the wild showdown. And then we take a look around. Now I'm riding in front of a riot.
I'm just dealing with my poison, I can get it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop.
It's okay, it's a sunny day. Why? Hey, they don't wanna come skate around here because they get served with that hate real quick, loud and clear.
I'm just dealing with my poison, I can get it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hit it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop.
So I just saw Panther, 1995, most of it. I know it's just a movie, but kind of interesting. The charges I'm on. Since I walked past a police officer and did this to the back of his head and kept walking. And the other cop shoot his pants and was mad. And if you know the movie I'm talking about, the Oakland cops used to do the same thing. Oh, I didn't know that. That's not why I was doing it. I just love, when I ride my bike, every time my feet touch the floor, I lose points. Feet not allowed to touch the floor. Ever. Red light, fuck you. Feet not allowed to touch the floor. Every time I do that to you, and you didn't see me, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel emboldened. The old and hardy tell me how to be. For the blood spills.
I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it
yeah, you really know it made a lot of fucking mistakes. I could have told you that 20 years and change ago. I could have told you that. But no one listened to me. You just dumb white kid. What do you know? Or you. Oh, look, your brains all over the floor. The police put your brains all over the floor. I'm just a dumb white kid, don't listen to me. You're trying to put too much in the paper. Marbles, maybe? Like, really?
I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so
No. This isn't really my song. You're gonna step on the escalator and you completely miss the step and fuck yourself up. That's what I just did with that beat there. Takes you 10 fucking minutes to do that, man. This is really my song. I bought it in Hong Kong. It's a knockoff. It's a knockoff. But all you motherfuckers get.
I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so I'm just dealing with my poison. I can get it so so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so woke, so woke, so woke.
They carry excessive inventory when they run their normal cluster of menu items that sometimes if they don't have the high volume can be expensive.
That's Randy White, president of Cisco Canada.
Oh,
In the
you
business sector,
fucking
I'm
idiot.
Irene
I
President.
know you get promoted, but you do everything wrong. You don't respect the hustle guys, don't respect you are your hustle
It's
dog.
not as innocent as it looks. It's a bit like a miniature pony with a gambling problem. Or a unicorn using its horn to rebroadcast baseball games without express written consent from the league. Speaking of which, man, I could go for a ballpark jog right now. Oh boy, I think it's kicking in. Learn how to talk with your kids about cannabis edibles at drugfreekidscanada.org. Hey, where am I?
This is your breaking news station, 680 News.
Even if you love renovating, sometimes it helps to hire a professional, just like I did for this radio ad. Dennis, could you read the next bit?
Certainly. Until July 1st at Rona and Lowe's, it's the installation services blitz. Get 10% back on a Rona or Lowe's gift card for any air conditioning, roofing, or kitchen installation project. Plus, our certified installers are duly trained to apply strict health and safety measures.
Wow, thank you. That was amazing.
Anytime. Conditions apply. Details online.
I'm just dealing with my
Weather
voice and I
forecast
can
is
hear it so
on because we're off by more than 3 degrees.
I'm just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so
680 News. Weather guarantee. Enter
I'm
online.
just dealing with my voice and I can hear it so
Now time for your regional weather conditions. This is on a clear sky, currently sitting at 17 degrees. Mississauga, clear skies. Never mind, just said that one. Sorry. Milton, clear skies, 17. Oakville, partly cloudy, 17. Richmond Hill, clear skies, currently sitting at 16. Downtown Toronto, 19 degrees with a few clouds in the sky.
He's yes.
City news time, 3:30.
19 degrees of
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good morning. This is Saturday, June 6th. I'm Veronica Soar. And I'm Jordan Coulter. Here's what's making news this hour.
Who the fuck are you?
With more anti-racism protests planned in the GTA this weekend, Toronto Mayor John Tory says the city is committed to fighting anti-black racism in the city.
1,000 people
the right
marching
answer,
through downtown
John.
Toronto
I
calling for
haven't had to
justice.
speak directly to you about that yet, but that would be the right
The march
answer,
for
wouldn't it, John?
George Floyd and Regis
Of course.
Korchinski Paquette.
Any other
The
answer would be
police
wrong.
chief
Right? Yeah. So your cops are fucking
Joe
sociopaths.
Biden securing the Democratic nomination for president in the 2020 presidential election in the United States. They're not permitted to
The
begin
black cops
reporting
are
just
running
yet.
on patrol,
Prepare
not like
for
Mark.
safe reentry.
Mark is a complete
That's the
piece of
message
shit.
from the city of Toronto to restaurants and personal service businesses.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell apologizes, while the Raptors might have dodged a bullet. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, it's been Trump versus
like
Twitter. We're going to the tech experts to find out if Twitter needs the U.S. president and whether or not he can shut it down.
Forgiveness for the original Sarah
News time 3:31. Time for traffic and weather together on the one.
Bible, the Queen Prince, just like she prints the money. Oh, yeah, that's
police
for sure.
investigation on the westbound QEW approaching here Ontario Clearway. So we don't have any
Catholic
problems
church
there. We just have construction out and about eastbound 401. A couple stretches here where you don't have much room to get by.
The king of his
That's
own
going to
little
be
country.
as you
What's that?
make your way east of Guelph line, in
Organized
between
crime.
Guelph line
Black fucking
and
hand.
Highway 25. Only a left lane is open through. Only a right lane is
I know what
open
I'm
through this
talking about.
stretch. It's on the eastbound 401 between Curtis and the 418 where only the left lane is open. So those are two stretches on the eastbound side of the highway where you don't have much room to get by, but everything's moving nicely. On the westbound 401, it's approaching the 427 and also through this Curtis Road construction where you only have one lane that's open. The rest are ramps that are closed. The East 401 ramp to South Allen, the 418 and Holt shut down. 418 ramp to the West 401 block. Westbound 401 ramps to Curtis and Allen, Yorkdale closed. Dixon ramps to the highway as well. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the 427 blocked off. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road is closed along with the ramp to Jane. And the South 427 ramps to and from Finch have been blocked off for maintenance. Next report at 3:41. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're likely going to see a sunny start today. A few clouds in the afternoon and a passing
Yeah,
rain
the day
shower.
usually starts with some sun, eh?
Forecast today, northwest
The
wind
night that's
up to 40 to 50
goes away again.
kilometers per hour.
That's
Humidity dropping off. Plenty of sunshine to be had. A fairly nice Saturday on the way. Today's high, 24 degrees.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 19 degrees with a few clouds in the sky, and over at Toronto Pearson Airport, cloudy, sitting at 19 degrees. 680 News Time, 3:33. Toronto Mayor John Tory commented on Friday's protests during the city's COVID-19 update and vowed to bring change to Toronto. 680's Madison Fitzpatrick joins us with more. That message was made simple, but was heard loud and clear.
I have acknowledged as mayor that anti-black racism exists in our city and that we are absolutely committed to confronting that racism in all parts of our society.
So I'm gonna go knock down Old City Hall. You ain't
including
gonna
in
do
City
shit
Hall
to stop
and
the argue
Toronto
drug.
Police Service.
One change Tory says he wants to see is fast-tracking body cameras for all police officers.
Hey, could you stop taping the air vents shut every time someone with sickle cell has to go to court?
Equipping officers with the cameras by the fall. Anti-racism rallies are also set for multiple cities in the GTA this weekend. Saturday afternoon in Toronto, a march is to gather at Nathan Phillips Square and Young Dundas Square. In Mississauga, a protest will be held in the city's Celebration Square, and on Sunday, a demonstration will be held in Aurora. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. We are all one people. That was just one of the chants from those marching for black justice on the streets of Toronto on Friday
Alright, Black
afternoon.
Power and the fucking
1,000
breakfast
people
will
took
smash
part
up
in
the
the
police
peaceful
station windows. You
demonstration.
don't stop
The
saying
city's
that
Mark
shit.
Douglas was there.
A
You know, all one
powerful
people.
cry
Okay,
for
I'm Black
justice from a
Lives
group
Matter,
that
and I'm here to
eventually
beat
grew
up the
to
cops
about
and kill the
1,000
mayor.
people
Seriously gonna say
marching
we're all
through
one
downtown
people? No,
Toronto.
they're gonna go, oh, we're not with that. Why is that?
Together. They tell me
Sickle cell, what's
to
that?
take part as black Canadians.
Question. All you assholes, what's sickle cell? Who are the
It's not right.
Airwalk Indians?
I'm only a teenager, so we need some change here. I don't know. I don't want to grow up in a racist place anymore.
Police Chief Mark Saunders joined in with the march at Yonge and College and took a knee with the demonstrators.
I thanked them. I said, look, you're trying to keep a message alive. It's important. The message is the right message, but they are trying to.
They were all marching for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette outside City Hall. The demonstrators all took a knee together to fill almost the whole of Nathan Phillips Square, all chanting, "I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe!" In downtown Toronto, I'm Mark Douglas.
Meantime, in Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau got a message
right now
on
talking about the fact
Canada-US
that they know
relations yesterday.
pulled over drunk, driving drugs in the car, fucking illegal weapon, mouth off at the cop, put your hands on them, spit everywhere, puke everywhere. They still are going to go home eventually.
Justin Trudeau could not have been clearer.
And like they said, they get a haircut, they can join society.
The Prime Minister didn't respond in words to the Chancellor's speeches, but
Oh, you
rather
look at this, you can do that. You know, I can't change this, I can't change the ears, the feet. I got all the features. You just don't know what you're looking at. I keep it covered up.
American cities.
Oh, yeah, I let you think I'm white on purpose. Really good.
For the 11th night in a row, protests are taking place in cities all across the U.S. over the death of George Floyd, including Atlanta, New York, and Los Angeles. Calls for police reform, opposition to anti-Black racism are coupled with messages of unity, togetherness, and understanding. Commentators on CNN describing what's happening as crossing a threshold after reportedly seeing Black Lives Matter protests with what appeared to be only white demonstrators.
Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares?
Americans, white folks, and other folks, that there's something wrong with our law enforcement system that can be fixed.
We'll go slice some cop. People don't start talking to fucking signs. I swear to God. Hey, Mark, you want me to start calling your house, nigga? Fix these fucking white people. Your friends stupid. Hey, you go to their houses and live on yours. None of you will ever come to my house and let me in yours. Tell these cocksuckers to shut the fuck up.
You're listening to 680 News. The CEO of a Canadian lending company has resigned after sending a letter to staff addressing recent protests in the name of George Floyd and the Black community. The Toronto Star reports
the Nazi that runs the radio station will listen if the cops tell them to stop saying it, eh?
Should not support political
Proving that with the racist white bitch that was on yesterday and on the name and I
have resigned. The Pay Today president and
died of a heart attack. What?
Are not representative of what Pay Today stands for.
Don't vote, please.
Have you been looking to start a dialogue online about anti-racism, only to be met with inflammatory responses? Jonathan Mua of City News is asking the question, how do you have those difficult conversations?
Troy Piper Bowen posted a message saying, if you're tired of hearing about racism, imagine how tired some people are of experiencing it. When I put that
they just said that, not this. What they just said there was, hey, all you white people, you're not allowed to protest because you're not allowed to have an opinion on this because you're not
black.
There were
people who were more or less trying to make it.
You're just not allowed to have an opinion.
Black lives don't matter, which they do. While Bakari, CEO of the Canadian Cultural Mosaic Foundation, explains,
everyone in the world has their own understanding.
You listen here, buddy. I am going to give you.
And change for everyone is scary, and things that are vague don't always make sense. And when you talk about race relations, it can get kind of tricky in there because, again, it's about human beings.
And she says some people aren't ready. So try your best, but be prepared for them to shut you down. I'm Jonathan Muma.
You're listening to Always Radio 680 News at 3:38. Joe Biden has secured the Democratic nomination for president in the 2020 presidential election in the United States. The former vice president was able to reach 1,993 delegates, 2 more than is necessary to win the nomination. Biden became the party's presumptive nominee 2 months ago, following decisive wins over Bernie Sanders in several March primaries.
We're pretending to think we know it, and our opinion is this is what's going to happen.
15 states, along with Guam and Puerto Rico, postponed their nominating contests due to the outbreak.
Oh yeah, you forget these little fucking dipshit third world countries.
The city of Toronto is now giving 2 very important industries guidance on how to safely reopen once the province gives them the green light. 680's Michelle Mackey has the details.
Toronto has
Costa Rica still got the most dangerous highways in the
world.
world.
More than 3,300 personal service settings, including hair salons, tattoo parlors, and aesthetic businesses. And now, Mayor John Tory is telling owners to get ready for reopening and providing public health advice in order to do so.
These guidelines address things like physical distancing, enhanced cleaning and disinfection, and other public health requirements that must be followed when these businesses reopen.
To adhere to these guidelines, Toronto's top doctor Eileen Davila says businesses will have to modify their services.
Operators will have to maintain a log for customers and staff contact information with a check-in time.
This so public health can quickly conduct contact tracing if there is a positive case of COVID-19 at a restaurant or other business.
John.
I'm Michelle Matthews.
Cash sale.
Getting you where you need to
Cash
go.
sale. Yes, right.
The most traffic in Toronto. 680 News.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts as Enpro predicted, the price did not change at midnight. It's holding at 97.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Your traffic and weather reports are next.
I give out radio station numbers when the cops ask me for phone numbers.
You can't see it here, but
It ends the conversation
and
fast.
it's also the sound of a time machine bringing your great-grandma's recipe to 2020. It's the sound of your taste buds going around the world. Japan's milk bread, the White Russian, and even New England. It's in the chowder. It's at every birthday without needing an invitation, and on every grocery list without a second thought. It's the sound of every one-star chef and every five-star chef, and the sound of the snacks on a season-long sci-fi streaming binge. So with everything milk makes possible, what can't milk do?
680 News
Stop
time,
Justin from
341. Time
boring
for
it down the
traffic and weather
goddamn
together on
drain.
Wednesday, starting with traffic with Craig Gear.
Not a bad drive.
No,
out there.
you're
We
never
have
gonna
a
live that one down,
construction
buddy.
To be mindful of if you're east on the 401 between
Everyone
Guelph Line and
starving,
Highway
bro.
25. It's only the right lane that's open.
Twice
We
as many
also
people
have
on EI as
a
they
closed
thought there would be.
southbound
These
Allen ramp
motherfuckers
off the
pouring milk
eastbound
down the
401.
drain.
Same with the ramps to
Oh,
the
we need supply
418 and
managers
Holt
to protect
Road.
the
The
farmers. Guess
418
what?
ramp to the
We're gonna
west
eat the
401 is blocked
goddamn
off too.
farmers.
The westbound 401 ramps to Curtis and Allen Yorkdale have been
On a
shut down. And the Dixon
bonfire of
ramps
his
to the west
fucking
401
barn
shut down
if you
for
don't
maintenance as
fucking
well.
keep that milk
Through the
moving.
Durham stretch, Curtis Road, Holt through the 418, only a single lane is open both directions. Same as when you're approaching the 427 on the westbound 401, but we're not seeing any slowdowns. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the south 427 shut down. The southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch have been closed. Southbound 400, no access to Aurora Road. There's a bit of a long-term ramp closure here, and they've also shut down the ramp to Jane. Next report at 3:51. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
Event summer weekend, a little closer to seasonal. Sunshine in the morning, a few clouds into the afternoon. Risk of a passing rain shower late in the day. We'll see the humidity staying lower all weekend long. Northwest wind up to 40 kilometers per hour. As we head overnight, temperatures down to 11 degrees at the clearing sky. During the day tomorrow, calling it mainly sunny with an afternoon high temperature of 21 degrees. Today, we have a high of 24 in the forecast.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we're sitting at 19 degrees with a few clouds in the sky and the same conditions at Pearson Airport.
I don't see no
Well,
clouds.
if you've managed to gain a little bit of weight with the fridge so close to you all the time during this quarantine, a group of professionals are offering a little help today. The Fitness Industry Council of Canada is putting on a live YouTube stream of fitness classes from different clubs and gyms coast to coast today in support of National Health and Fitness Day. Classes start streaming at 10 o'clock this morning, and you can check it out on the Fitness Institute of Canada's YouTube page. 680 News Time, 3:43.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? 15 or 25%? How about 30%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 30% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 30% just by driving safe. Visit allstate.ca or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Search Save 30% with Allstate for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Ontario, you're making a difference to keep people safe from COVID-19, and we all need to continue our efforts to protect each other. Get tested if you're worried you may have COVID-19 or have been exposed to the virus. Practice physical distancing. Stay 2 meters apart. Wear a face covering when physical distancing is a challenge, and continue to wash hands frequently, inside or out. Stay safe. Save lives. Learn more at ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
19 degrees and a few clouds in downtown Toronto. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Veronica Soar. Here are the top stories this hour. Vowing for change during the city's COVID-19 update on Friday, Mayor John Tory says he's hoping to have body cameras on Toronto police officers throughout the city by the fall. Tory says it's all in an effort to crack down on anti-Black racism in
Okay,
Toronto.
so since I was strip searching and all this shit is talking about the shit's going on multiple cameras, what use is that, stupid?
1,993 delegates. Biden became the party's presumptive nominee after
And this
winning
is where,
several primaries
oh,
over
Italian
Bernie
lawyer
Sanders
loved me till he
2
found
months
out
ago.
for sure that I was
And coming
native.
up after
You don't want to
sports,
represent me no more. And he tried to
Trump.
shoot me.
I'm ABC Chuck
Oh,
Sears
and my
in
client's
Korea.
doing this and that and this and that, so therefore I can't represent him. Shut your fucking mouth. You are not my lawyer. Whoever wrote that is not my lawyer. Your Honor, you saw me fire this piece of shit and study you an hour and a half ago.
The NFL appears to be trying to make amends for the league's handling of kneeling protests during the national anthem led by Colin Kaepernick. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell apologized in a video posted to social media Friday night saying, quote, "We the National Football League condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We the National Football League admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest." The league also shared a video put out Thursday night in which more than 15 NFL stars said they were asserting their right to peacefully protest and asked the NFL to admit wrong in silencing its players. If and when the NBA postseason begins, the Raptors won't have to worry about Kevin Durant in a potential first-round series with the Brooklyn Nets. SB Nation is reporting that the 31-year-old Durant won't be ready to return from Achilles surgery in time to play this season. The NBA Players Association informed players Friday that they will work with the NBA to conduct COVID-19 testing every night during the resumed season, according to The Athletic. And Freiburg edged Gladbach 1-0 in the lone game from the German Bundesliga on Friday. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 news time, 346.
Working from home? On the couch? With kids? Yep, this is your new normal. So isn't it time you got a new home office suite? Turn your basement into a beautiful home office suite from just $4.90 a month. Fully functional. Bathroom, gym, bar.
Don't stop now. How do you hit it up there and make the floor shake down here, bro? I have no idea who lives above me. None whatsoever. I have absolutely no idea. I don't care. I only know it's the same person because every so often that happens.
And as always, you can count on our next day installation guarantee. When you need air conditioner help now. Financing OAC, interest accrues from end of deferral period. Conditions apply. See website for details.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, charged with second-degree murder in the death of George Floyd, is expected to be in court on Monday. ABC's Alex Perez is in Minneapolis.
So many people curious about how this is going to play out in court. Derek Chauvin is due in court for his very first court appearance on Monday. Perhaps on Monday, we will learn what will be the defense argument as this case moves forward.
3 other officers are also charged with aiding and abetting. California's governor has ordered an end to carotid hold training in the state.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is making changes in the wake of the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis and the nationwide protests that followed. Newsom is ending the teaching of the carotid hold to California State Police.
I am immediately directing post, which is police officers training
This is idiot's
to
idea.
edit the training of that practice.
The carotid hold applies pressure to the carotid arteries that supply blood to the brain. Floyd died on Memorial Day after a Minneapolis police officer put his knee on Floyd's neck for several minutes as he was handcuffed and lying on the ground.
I performed, I executed a carotid hold.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Los Angeles Police Chief Michael Ward led a vigil Friday evening on police officers to remember George Floyd. Moore was flanked by faith leaders. Nearby protesters yelled at Moore. Here's sound of a protester yelling at Moore as he tried to meet with them.
Murderers and abusers and your law enforcement, you want to respect you? You black protesters for George Floyd, you want to respect you? You disgust me. You're swine. You're not human. And you deserve to be treated accordingly.
I swear I know that girl.
Meantime, New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees is responding to Trump online.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell urging players to protest peacefully.
We were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier.
President Trump tweeting that New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees shouldn't have apologized for criticizing players kneeling during the national anthem, saying it disrespects the flag. Ball of Fame running back Terrell Davis.
He disrespectful.
China flag.
In his own neighborhood and gets murdered, assassinated while jogging.
Brees tweets that the protest was never about the flag, and the flag shouldn't be used to distract from the real issues that need the attention of everyone. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
No one ever said it had anything to do with the flag.
While following backlash from their own employees regarding their handling of President Donald Trump's controversial posts, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg says the company will review their policies on content moderation. In a post he shared on the social media site, he acknowledges that the president's posts left many of his employees, quote, angry, disappointed, and hurt, and also says, quote, to members of the Black community, I stand with you, your lives matter, Black lives matter. This all comes days after Zuckerberg hosted a town hall with Facebook employees addressing these concerns, as well as an employee who recently left the company due to their stance.
Hey, you know the Palestinians are black, you piece of shit?
680 news time, 3:51, which means it's time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here's Craig Gear.
Pretty good drive out there. We're not seeing any problems.
It's all fine and well for him to sell drug paraphernalia.
Nice
if I make a joke about the government selling drugs,
eastbound 401 as you go through
which they do,
close through here. It's just single file.
The post gets raised. I get warned. Oh, they're trying to trade marijuana, cannabis on the internet. You're not allowed to do that. Number one, yes, I am. And number two, no, I do.
Westbound 401, no access from the 418 or Dixon. No access from the highway to Curtis Road or Allen.
Mark, how's it feel this the other Mark?
407 ramps to the
How's it feel to be locked out of China?
The southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch are blocked.
One country in the world that figured out how to block a website completely from their country.
As well as the ramp
how's that feel, Mark?
And
it looks like billion people you could have on your fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, we got 2 billion people. All these people, and no, you don't, because most of them can't actually access the goddamn internet.
Ramp to Jane gets closed here through this construction zone.
Not 8 billion, Mark. It's less than 6.
Your next report's at 401. Here's the forecast.
1.5 or 2. I don't believe it.
Starting out the day with a sunny sky, daytime highs, 24
1 billion
degrees,
people have high
northwest
speed, and
wind
4 billion
breezy up
people
to
have
40
access to
kilometers
fucking
per hour.
wireless
There is
data.
the risk of a passing shower into the
You can
afternoon,
tell me
mainly
that
from
1
the
out
north
of
and
5
east.
people
As we head overnight,
actually.
temperatures down to
I'm
11
not sure how
degrees.
much
Looks like a
overlap
sunny
there
sky
is between
tomorrow.
the
A few
two.
clouds.
You got 1 out
Daytime
of 4
highs
fucking
near
people in
21.
the world, bro.
Into Monday,
Oh,
the sunshine
shit.
continuing, at least the mainly sunny sky. 10 degrees the
I
low,
get
a high
well,
temperature of 24 in the forecast.
multiple
And then we have the
fucking requests
summertime
every
heat building
fucking
back in by
day.
Tuesday. We're
From
talking
dudes,
temperatures
it always says he
into the lower
wants to do that
30s and
thing.
sunshine
There's
on
a
the way
picture of
as
some
well.
weird chick.
Today, a
You
high
can't
of 24 in
form
the
a proper
forecast.
English sentence to
Right now
advertise the
downtown, we're
porno
sitting
site.
at 19 degrees with a few clouds in the sky. Similar
those accounts
conditions at
count.
Pearson Airport. Coming up at the top of the hour, the latest on Mayor John Tory now vowing changes are coming to the city. He's looking to see all police in Toronto wearing body cameras by the fall. 680 news time, 3:53.
This is your weather station, 680 News.
With TD Insurance, there are so many ways to save, we can't fit them all in this app. But this guy can try. Alumni professional
Long story short, 6 17, those two comes down to Justin Trudeau. What the fuck does Trudeau have? City has got the money. Problems. We'll give it to them. They ain't got it. The Fed's got to give it to one or the other for the police to get it. They ain't going to give it to them.
Conditions apply.
They just admitted that they're willing to argue over this for June, July, August, fall. When's fall?
As soon as it happens.
So let's say 90, 120 days, 3, 4 months. They want to do this by the end of the
Alright, got the mask and hand sanitizer?
Oh, the police service will say, no fucking way we're going to spend our money. Now we need it for payroll.
Check.
680 News, Cottage Country Traffic.
Duh. So
Only
we
one
always.
pay. These are not federal government of Canada employees. One missed paycheck and they're gone.
680 News.
They will not come to work.
On the 9th. We're here for you before, during, and after. This is 680 News.
I've seen these cocksuckers on strike. Trust me, I know.
The
Oh
Toronto
yeah, the
Police
city I'm from, the
Squad
police
is
just
arrested
stop
at duo
working
they've
sometimes.
nicknamed the carjacking
Satellite.
bandits. Two
Yeah,
teams,
it's
17 and
interesting.
18, face more than 100 charges related to 14 armed robberies and carjackings over 2 weeks in April. Many of the robberies took place at gas station convenience stores. 680 News Time, 3:54. Facebook will start labeling state-controlled media that appears on its platform in a bid to help stymie the spread of misinformation. According to the platform, it will begin a process announced last year of labeling media that is wholly or partially under the editorial control of their government. Labels will appear on designated outlets' pages and also in news feeds when their content is posted. Among the organizations already sporting the designation are the RT and Sputnik, both of which have been accused of spreading propaganda. Coming up in 60 seconds, your 680 News Weekend Business Report. 680 News Time, 3:55.
The production thereof. The correct term is propaganda. Every time you hear wash your hands and wear a mask, the term for that is propaganda. That's what the fucking word is. It's all government propaganda. But you won't see that word propaganda applied to certain systems. Oh, RT's it's propaganda. Yeah, because the government set up the whole fucking station. Here's, do your thing. China Radio International. Oh, propaganda, yeah. It's how they reach out to the world to tell them what their intentions are with the world. Oh, you're going to ask the U.S. government what China's going to do next?
Until July 1st,
I listen to the Chinese tell me to vote.
Installation Services Blitz. Get 10% back on a Rona or Lowe's gift card for any air conditioning, roofing, or kitchen installation project. Plus, our certified installers are duly trained to apply strict health and safety measures.
Wow. Thank you. It was amazing.
CBC.
Anytime. Conditions apply. Details online.
680 News Time, 3:56. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Southern. It's been Trump versus Twitter the last week or so. The U.S. president not happy with the fact that Twitter fact-checked and censored some of his tweets. In fact, Trump has threatened to shut down Twitter altogether. Daniel Bader is managing editor of Android Central.
If Trump makes your tweet disappear, that's
censorship. It's his big communication strategy.
Don't you work in the fucking media?
I think there is an argument to be made that Twitter.
That's why I don't listen to these guys talking about, oh, it's a winning week. Everybody made money in the stock market this week. Good time to invest. Yeah,
it's more of a detriment to its image as a company.
It's down 80, but it's up 30.
An advantage of having him constantly tweeting. Twitter has been criticized for not growing as quickly as it should have from investors' perspectives over the years compared to Facebook, which it says is not because it is not growing as a company, but rather that it is a very different kind of platform than Facebook. Twitter just serves a different function, and from that perspective, Trump being its most prominent member is a good thing in terms of cultural visibility. Whether it's helping the share price or not, I don't know.
The ultimate question, Daniel, if I'm an investor in Twitter especially, is can Trump shut them down?
No. This argument that this executive order can force the FCC to police speech online is not going to happen unless Congress changes.
No, you could have stopped right there because you already said it. Police
which would require the Democratic Congress to approve such a change.
Twitter stock's been rebounding some, finishing the week just shy of $36 a share. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Southern.
If you've been thinking of getting a backyard garden shed, you should know that DuroShed has been installing sheds and pool cabanas in the GTA for over 25 years. And DuroShed has social distancing down to a fine art. DuroShed will arrive in the morning, work outside all day, and before supper time, you'll have a beautiful new garden shed.
Y'all better be done before lunch.
You can watch from inside while we build your DuroShed outside. Check out our photo galleries at duroshed.ca. That's DUROshed.ca.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call
me and my original friend here with my truck.
Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack,
how come you don't have two women in the truck?
With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. We're two men in a truck. We're open for business.
Two men and a truck.
the movers who care.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Coy Brothers.
If you're feeling the pressure to clean up around the house, buy a Stihl pressure washer.
Starting from $199.95.
Stihl and Coy Brothers.
KOOYBROS.com.
Weather. It's all about the numbers. And if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can wear a cash jacket.
I would use it to write my name in filth
Entering
on the sides of these buildings and on the
Right now in
sidewalks.
downtown Toronto, a few clouds in the sky,
They could
19
stop me.
degrees, and the same at Pearson Airport.
I'm not
680 News
putting
time
something
at
on
the
there,
single time.
removing
4 o'clock.
selectively.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
good morning. This is Saturday, June 6th. I'm Jordan Coulter.
And I'm Veronica Thor. Here's what's making news this hour. Body cameras for all police officers. That's one change Toronto Mayor John Tory wants to see in response to anti-black racism in the city.
1,000 people marched through downtown Toronto,
I can't tell
calling
how far
for
I can't
justice
tell
for George Floyd and
before.
Regis Kaczynski Paquette.
You're right. Okay, well, how come I can't tell white people apart? You keep telling me you can't tell niggas apart, and
A
I can,
Facebook
so I'm
post to
gonna
try and stir the dialogue around racism leads to intense and, in some cases, inflammatory responses, widening the discussion. How do you have those difficult discussions with people, and when is it just not worth it?
Mayor Tory has a message for restaurants and personal service settings.
These business owners are advised to begin preparing for reopening.
The city providing a list of health guidelines for these businesses.
The NFL says sorry while the NBA has a plan to test for COVID-19. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business, Canadians are turning to new credit cards during the coronavirus pandemic. We'll hear from an expert on what's popular and what's getting the cold shoulder.
680 News time, 4:01.
What the shooting?
Time for traffic and weather together on the lens. Here's Craig Gear.
So a bit of construction out there. We'll just talk about the ramps that are blocked off because everything's moving nice and smoothly. Eastbound 401 ramp to southbound Allen, the 418 and Holt Road closed down. The 418 ramp to the westbound 401's blocked, as well as the west 401 ramp to Curtis Road and Allen Yorkdale. Dixon ramps to the highway are also shut down. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the south 427 shut down for overnight construction. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road has been closed for quite a while now. Bit of long-term maintenance happening here on this ramp, so you can't use it. Southbound 400 ramp to James, that's also closed. Southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch, also blocked off. Next report at 411, here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're doing a cooler, fresher weekend here across the GTA. Still plenty of warmth. 24 degrees the daytime high today. Sunshine to start. Humidity's lower. There's a possibility of a pop-up shower into the afternoon that could move through. Best bet will likely
When
be
they
the
say
north
that, I picture
and
the
east end of the
stupid
GTA,
camping
but that
tent,
possibility remains.
shower
Today, a high of 24 northwest
Pop-up shower,
wind near 40 kilometers per hour.
Stop saying that. They don't pop up. They come up the sky and fall down.
With a few clouds in the sky and the same conditions at Pearson Airport. 680 News time,
I don't know if she's lying or
4:03.
not, because I can't tell if it's clouds. I can't tell.
Close to 1,000 demonstrators, including families, children, and
Another
teenagers,
racist cunt.
marched along
Almost
Toronto's streets on
2,000.
Friday to support the Black Lives Matter movement. We'll have more
You're
on that in
almost
just
the
a moment.
majority, except you keep lying about those numbers.
Apparently the demonstrations are having an effect on Mayor John Tory, who is now revisiting police body cameras. 680's Madison Fitzpatrick has more.
With people looking to authority figures for action, Mayor John Tory says the city
are
is
you
absolutely
talking about?
committed to confronting anti-black racism in all parts of our city, including the Toronto Police Service. Tory says one action he wants to see is body cameras to be worn by all police officers.
So you can watch all the
police
niggers,
chief
right?
and board chair about fast
You already said
tracking
you're
that
gonna
plan.
Body-worn cameras should be given final approval
Send
at
them
the
in.
July Police Board meeting, with a goal of having them placed on our police officers this fall.
Meantime,
So you
anti-racism
can
rallies
send them
are
into
also
the
set for
communities
multiple
more
cities
often.
in the
That's what
GTA
you
this
said.
weekend. Saturday in
You
Toronto,
are
a march
going
is
to
to gather
send
at
them
Nathan
to
Phillips
harass
Square
us
and Young
more
Dundas Square. In
with these
Mississauga, a
cameras.
protest will be held in the city's Celebration
The
Square.
cameras are
And
allowing
on
us to
Sunday,
document who is
organizers
the
in Aurora
troublemaker
are
in the
set to
community.
gather at Young and Wellington. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick.
John, you get hit by
In
a
a
fucking
powerful moment
snowplow.
yesterday as
I'll fuck
Toronto
around.
Police Chief Mark Saunders joined in on
That's
Friday
Richard.
afternoon's protest against police brutality and
Unbelievable.
anti-black
Next
racism that wove throughout the downtown core. 680's Mark Douglas was among the crowd.
They were calling for justice for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette from Young and Bluer, starting in smaller groups. What grew to be 1,000 people went marching around the downtown core.
What grew to be 1,000? That's a nice way to put it.
This man tells me what it meant to him to take part.
And he doesn't know. He spent 2 hours running back and forth and back and forth. You can't count the man and do all that at the same time. I can't.
Or kids like me. It was soon after the start of the 2.5-hour rally when demonstrators got to Young and College to be met by Police Chief Mark Saunders, who joined them and took a knee.
It's about getting this right. It's about trust, accountability. It's about saving lives. And so anything.
You know, you sound like a white guy on the radio. You don't have to tell these people that you're black. I won't, because I don't
to see the chief take a knee. He thanks all the police who kept watch over this entirely peaceful protest.
Every officer who was involved in this, real cool, real amazing, real supportive, amazing guys.
In downtown Toronto, I'm Mark Douglas.
I've never seen any of them do anything.
Rallies against racism and police brutality took place in multiple Canadian cities yesterday following days of demonstrations across the U.S. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau attended a protest on Parliament Hill,
duty cop
wearing a
that just
black face mask
accidentally
and
ran
kneeling with other
directly into
protesters
the
in
media
honor of
guy
George
who
Floyd.
doesn't know
In
you're a
Toronto,
cop.
police kept a low profile as more than 1,000 people marched peacefully through the streets.
And protesters continue to gather
You
in
don't have to be
major
up close,
cities and squares
because
across the
you've
United
already
States
got people in
as
the
mass
crowd, eh?
demonstrations continue against police brutality. Thousands are demanding justice for the death of George Floyd. While the New York Times reported violence between protesters and police, this demonstrator says he holds no ill will towards law enforcement.
Delivery may be a little rough, but the message is the same. I don't dislike cops, and I have been to prison.
Don't misunderstand this.
I don't hate cops. I hate bullies. I hate oppressors. And hate is a very strong word. And
Well,
I
she
know
just
exactly
tried to
how I'm
put
using
a
it.
handle
A New York
on
City police officer
a
who was
handle
seen
of
on video
every lie
shoving
needs a
a woman
handle
to
the
the
truth.
ground at a
She
George
just tried to
Floyd
fucking
protest
change
last week in
what he said.
Brooklyn has been suspended
The
without
point of
pay.
what he said is you have
Supervisor who
no
was on the scene
excuse
will
for
be
picking on us.
transferred.
Oh, well, they hate us
Post
and they're always
started
calling us
dialogue
names
leads to a
and
heated
flipping us the
exchange.
bird and doing us.
Jonathan
We're
Mueller
not
from
doing
City
anything
News
here.
takes a look at
You
how to have
started
difficult
that.
conversations
You started
on
this
racism
shit.
and what you can do when it's hard to
You
find
started
common
flipping the
ground.
bird and throwing things at us and all the rest of it.
Saying if you're
You
tired of
started
hearing
that,
about
you ignorant fuck.
Imagine how tired some people are of
Oh, they don't
experiencing
like it and my feelings are hurt
sensitive
and I deserve to be
inflammatory
what's the word?
responses. What makes it more challenging?
Actualized.
These are people he grew up
There you
with
go.
and has even lived with.
You're not even on your land. Go the fuck
I
back
lose
to your
friends.
land, stupid.
It lets me know where they stand on a very important issue like this. If you
You
can't
came here
stand with me
the
at a
last
time like
100
this,
years,
then
you're
I
not
don't
my
need around. I
stuff.
don't need your negativity. Ivan
You're not
Bakari,
connected at
CEO
all.
of the
You're a
Canadian Cultural
ugly,
Mosaic
fat
Foundation,
piece of
explains
shit person,
Not
to be
everybody's
honest.
ready to go there,
Child
so you
molesting,
should
drunk,
try your best, but
fucking
there are
greed
some
bag
people who
thieving
will
fucking piece of
evidently
shit,
cut
to be
you off
honest.
and
Yeah,
you never
all
want
you
to have
come
that
to Canada and do
conversation.
something. That's what all these fuckers here with the badges, because the law says Scottish and 6 foot. If you're going to be a cop, that's
You're
what it
listening to
says.
680 News. We've got big news south of the border.
You got
where
no
Joe
connection
Biden
at all to
has
my people.
formally clinched the Democratic presidential nomination.
You
The
got
former
like some
vice
problem with
president has
that.
effectively
Like,
been
you're
his party's
20
leader
told,
since his last
and
challenger
somehow
in the Democratic primary.
your dad
Bernie
who came
Sanders
here in the
ended his
50s or something to
campaign
do
in
with like
April.
the
This
1600s.
is
And no, there's
77-year-old
no
Biden's
connection to it.
third bid for the presidency. He now has 1,993 delegates, with contests still to come in 8 states and 3 U.S. territories. Biden's
Well,
next
my
step
people
is
came
setting
here
up
from
an election
Scotland. Get away from your
challenge to U.S.
people. You're a
President
bunch of
Donald
rapists,
Trump.
and the word is
Meantime,
infidel.
Trump is
Which
effectively
you think
claiming
means
victory over the
doesn't believe in
COVID-19
nigger
pandemic
religion.
and the
It
resulting
actually
economic
means
crisis.
you break into
Probably,
people's
if you think of it, the greatest government
lives,
in America
houses,
the
places
president's
of
healing
business,
and
you steal
unexpectedly
from them,
good
you hurt them.
reports showing
That's what it
employers
means. It's
added
what the word
jobs
infidel
last
means.
month
Criminal.
instead of cutting
That's what it
millions,
means.
as most analysts had predicted. It's been a
I'm
beautiful
an
thing to
American
see,
infidel.
saying
I
it's
got the
proof the
t-shirt.
steps
Yeah.
he's taken to
Yeah,
fight the
you
virus
are a
have worked.
racist.
He's long seen
ignorant
economic
fuck.
success
If
as
you
his
bought
ticket
the
to another
t-shirt, you are
term.
dumb
He
as
said an
fuck.
economic rebound is
I
also
hope
the
it's a
answer to
Muslim company
racial
selling those
inequality,
t-shirts.
suggesting George
I
Floyd
hope
would
it's
be
a
happy
Muslim
with
making
this
the money
news.
out there.
Joe Biden points out Floyd's last words before dying in police custody were, "I can't breathe."
For the president to try to put any other words in the mouths of George Floyd, I frankly think is despicable.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
You're listening to 680 News. The city of Toronto is officially
put things
advising
in our mouths.
restaurants
Oh, it's
and
just a
personal
nigger. He doesn't know what he meant to
businesses
say.
like
I'll
hair and nail
speak.
salons to prepare for a safe
Step into our
reopening.
shoes.
680's Michelle
Oh, yeah, if I
reports.
sue for pain and suffering, the government can quote-unquote step into my shoes and take my
long
money.
list of public health guidelines that will require businesses to modify their operations beforehand.
This includes the need to put space between tables.
You talk about reopening, all these places are already open. They're already open.
Plexiglass are recommended.
However, Mayor John Tory wants to be clear. These businesses cannot open their doors to the public until the revised order under the province of Ontario's Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act
because they are essential. But your local restaurant and your hairstylist can review these health guidelines to make sure they are ready to be opened when the time comes.
City staff
If I've not been drinking coffee and eating beef patties, you think I fucking have a stash of those cups?
Local BIAs. I'm Michelle
Oh, this is from the coffee shop that don't really exist. I bought the whole case of the cups. I do have the box of cups.
Now the 680 News gas price update and process. The price of gas did not change at midnight, holding at 97.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next. 680 News time 4:10.
This is so fucking stupid.
Being a new mom isn't easy, but hugging's easy. Loving's easy. And baby D-drops are easy too. Simply apply just one drop
the
of
Uber
baby
company's
feed.
gonna do whatever the fuck they're doing for black open businesses. All of a sudden, everybody's got to tell you that there are no open restaurants. 3 different people that said they're not open. Yes, they are. You just can't sit down in them.
680 News time 4:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
I got the pizza box right fucking here. I walk in the place with the pizza.
Slowdowns or problems through any of our construction zones. Just a couple of tight squeezes. Eastbound 401 through both lines.
The door to the other half of the store where I can see tables and chairs is wide open. Theoretically, I could march right in there. I could trespass.
Westbound side
What
of
is
the
that?
highway now, and the eastbound side through the construction through
As soon as niggers are involved, we got, oh no, we can't, all right.
Westbound 401, no access to the highway from the 418.
You know how many times I fucking
road through this stretch? The West 401 ramps to Allen Yorkdale are also blocked, as well as the Dixon ramps onto the highway. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the South 427 shut down for maintenance here. Southbound 400, the Aurora Road ramp is blocked, and also the ramp to Jane. Southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch have been closed for maintenance as well. Your next report's at 4:21. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're kicking out the weekend with some sunshine. 24 in the forecast for today. Sunny skies early on. Partly cloudy into the afternoon. Chance of a passing shower. They look to be fairly isolated. We'll see winds out of the northwest, fairly breezy, up to about 40 kilometers per hour. As we head overnight, a clear sky, temperatures down to 11 degrees. Tomorrow, 21 in the forecast. It is going to be cooler, but it will be a mainly sunny way to wrap up the weekend. Today, a high temperature of 24 degrees.
Right now, downtown Toronto, partly cloudy skies, currently 19 degrees, and over Pearson Airport, partly cloudy, currently 18 degrees. The RCMP are warning people in Nova Scotia to beware of an escaped provincial jail inmate described as dangerous. They say 33-year-old Kevin Edward Clark McNeil escaped from the Northeast Nova Scotia Correctional Facility on Friday night in New Glasgow. Clark McNeil is serving time on serious criminal charges, including attempted murder, unlawful confinement, aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and obstructing a peace officer. Mounties say he should not be contacted or approached. Still to come on 680 News.
Buddy, I ain't $20 if you approach me. I don't know what you look like. Radio don't tell us that. That's kind of useless.
This weekend.
There's a guy out there who's real dangerous. You should not approach.
Are you ready?
You didn't bother to tell us what he looks like. Or, hey, Richie, you were talking to yeah, guess what? That's why that shit goes at the end of those stories, you moron.
Looking for a window or portable air conditioner, small or large fans, air
Hey,
purifiers,
your boss is a Nazi.
dehumidifier. We have something that fits your budget.
Nobody ever said they were smart.
FactoryDirect.ca or one of our 20 stores in Southern Ontario. Don't wait, supplies are limited. Get the products you need today.
Your roof's sprung a leak?
Water came through, shorted out the furnace, the radiator too.
The logo on everything your company touches is a swastika. It's a swastika. I don't know how you got away with putting it up there, except that the Buddhists are allowed to use swastikas too. So,
when you own your car or
what? It's a swastika. It's not a Mobius strip. No, it's not.
Money when you need it most from Prudent Financial. Click for details
Oh,
today.
the dumb people that think they're smart when you tell them it's Mobius strip, actually it's a Mobius. They don't know what it means. It's a swastika.
It's 19 degrees.
BMW logo? Not a swastika.
News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Jordan Coulter. Here are the top stories this hour.
Nissan semaphores, the ND, the letters ND,
for the safety
nuclear
of all.
disarmament.
Mayor John Tory is looking
Nissan
to have
is
body
stupid.
cams on all Toronto police officers by the time
I
all
want cameras
rolls
on.
around. And more
They can
demonstrations are
turn them
planned
off.
for this weekend in
So
the
what the
GTA.
fuck you? Why are you
Toronto
sending
will see
cameras to
3
follow me around?
demonstrations.
These cocksuckers follow me
Trinity
everywhere of their
Bellwood
own
Square,
volition.
one at Nathan Phillips Square, and one at Young Dundas Square. Mississauga's protest is set for Celebration Square,
see me
and in
following you?
Aurora, participants are forming
Give a
a
fuck what
human
you're
chain,
doing. Get the fuck
each
out of here.
6
Folks.
feet
Go
apart,
to your country.
starting at the intersection of
let's look
Young
at that.
and Wellington.
I got a
And
status
coming up
card and
after
your name is
sports,
Dick.
IndyCar is
Get the fuck
getting
away.
back to the track tonight
My
in
part. You're not going to say that word.
680
My
news
part
time,
is.
4:15. Now 680
Hey,
sports.
Mark, I'm
from
sitting there
Sports
smoking
Night
weed. What are you going to
Here's
do
George
about it,
Russell.
pussy?
NFL Commissioner
Oh, there's
Roger
way more
Goodell
than 30 grand
apologized
in
in a
there.
video
I'm selling
posted
and
to
not
social
collecting the
media Friday night
taxes.
saying, quote, "We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic
I've been spending
oppression
the
of
money
black people.
in stores where they ain't
National
charging
Football
the
League admit
taxes.
we were wrong for not listening to NFL
And when
players
they buy their
earlier
shit, their
and
suppliers ain't
encourage all
charging
to
them the
speak out and
taxes.
peacefully protest. The NFL
Doug,
appears
that's
to be
how we
trying
do
to
it,
make
right?
amends for the league's handling
Fuck
of
you,
kneeling
Justin.
protests
Fuck you,
during the
John.
national anthem led by Colin Kaepernick. The NBA
Wow,
Players
you're gonna split mine to that?
Association
No, you're
informed
not.
players
Yeah,
Friday
that's
that they will work with the NBA
that's
to conduct
outside of the
COVID-19
TPS
testing
purview.
every night during
Okay,
the
Mr.
resumed
Overseer.
season, according to The Athletic. If and when the postseason begins, the Raptors won't have to worry about Kevin
If
Durant
and
in a
when.
potential first-round series with the Brooklyn Nets. SB Nation is reporting that the
You know
31-year-old
Mark's
Durant will
doing?
not
You know
be
what he
ready
did
to
today when he
return
came
from
out and knelt
Achilles
down on you
surgery in time
people?
to play this season. And Amanda Nunes and Canada's
He's
Felicia
showing
Spencer both
all
made weight
the other
Friday
niggers how
in a
to kneel
featherweight title
down
fight
before
in
the
the
white
main
man.
event of UFC 250
It's also in
Saturday
shirts,
night in
because
Las
he
Vegas.
knows, because we got told last week, there is no money for the place.
Sportsnet.ca/590.
680
He
news time,
needs all those pussy
4:16.
faggot kids to dart
Even
from
if you
him.
love renovating, sometimes it
And
helps to
aren't
hire a
black,
professional.
according to this guy.
Just like I
These
did for this
guys are
radio
not
ad.
even black.
Dennis, could you read the next bit?
He needs all of
Until
those
July
people
1st
to
at Rona and
like
Lowe's,
them.
it's the Installation Services Blitz. Get 10% back on a Rona or Lowe's gift card for any air conditioning, roofing, or kitchen installation project. Plus, our certified installers are duly trained to apply strict health and safety measures.
Oh, the timing of that was pretty suspect, wasn't it, Mark?
It was amazing.
Anytime.
Oh,
Conditions
Doug
apply.
Ford's
Details online.
racist for giving money to whatever. You don't even know what the police don't care, really.
Fire you if you don't return to work. Sound familiar?
You
Money
just want
was
to stop
there
lying about why
If your
there's no
disability
money.
insured denies your
You didn't
disability
say
claim
there's no
for any
money, you said
reason,
there's some
or
money.
if your employer threatens to fire
Thanks,
you
Doug.
because you're too sick to work, call
Doug, you're being
416
racist, giving black people money
4878.
when we're
Don't
busy
worry
killing
about
black
our legal
people.
fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only
But the
get
house
paid
nigger at
when
City
you
Hall
get
can
paid.
fucking come
Before
down
you
here.
call, you should always remember that there
This
are no
is how
bad
you
questions.
kneel before the, I don't know how you
416
kneel.
661 4878 or on your
I
cell
don't do
phone
my hands. What do you do with your
LTE.
hands when you kneel?
In Ontario, extreme intoxication can
I
now
don't know. What do you do?
serve as a
It's the only
defense
reason I can
of the
think of kneel.
accused in sexual assaults and other violent crimes.
I wouldn't.
Malia
I'd be leaned
Shake
over
City
something
News
heavier than me.
spoke
That's
to
all.
Lindsay Daviow, a criminal defense lawyer at Rosen
I'm
and
not
Company
kneel for
Barristers,
nobody, a
about
boxy
why we
boy.
probably won't
You
see
get on
this
your knees all the
defense
time, don't you,
used
you
too
pussy?
often.
You know what goes on
are sharing
behind
their concern about their attackers abusing this
closed
law.
house
Those in the legal
doors?
field say there's little cause
I'll
for
go sleep in
concern.
the
This
field.
is
That'd be
dealing
mad,
with
bro.
a very rare defense. It's extreme intoxication akin to automatism. It's not mild intoxication or just moderate intoxication.
Automatism means the performance of an act
Oh.
or actions without the performer's awareness or conscious volition.
Oh, do you know what an automaton is too? Because that's what
Automatism
we're.
defense will be found not criminally
Actually, I'm not
responsible
sure
by
which one
reason
comes
of a
first.
mental disorder. According to Stats Canada, 63% of murdered women and girls are killed by someone under the influence of an intoxicating substance. The General Counsel for Women's Legal Education and Action Fund acknowledges
the thing is, the way you say it makes it sound like it's the alcohol
understand the
stuff.
law will get scared. Malia Sheikh, City News.
Oh, by the way, that includes
U.S.
me.
President Donald Trump is threatening a new trade war, this time over lobster and the European Union.
At a Maine fishing roundtable, the president saying he's unhappy the European Union adds tariffs to that state's exported lobster.
Good, because it's not your fucking thing to be selling.
Keep charging us, so we're going to charge you corresponding on something that they sell that's very precious to them.
But it is the president's own imposed trade war with China that hurt Maine lobster operations.
Shit that the people that are buying don't give a fuck about your dirty. Oh, it's dirty. Oh, okay.
To buy from Canada.
There you go. They don't care. You're not going to stop nothing. And you will never recoup the money.
We are 3 weeks into all of this, and one thing is for sure, we miss our hairstylists. Our Jeff Verhoeven spoke with one to see how they're doing and to get some tips if we get really desperate.
Don't make money for nobody.
Yeah, Amanda Reno, or Hair by Amanda R on Instagram, works at Halo Hair Studio in Maple. Her specialty, balayage. That's where you sit in a chair for 4 hours and watch your wife get her hair done. But she tells me people are getting desperate.
I do get the odd message of them kind of like bribing me to pay 3 times as much just to come over to their house and quickly.
She just told us the price.
And again, I think everybody.
Oh, 3 times as much, okay. That's the going right? Okay, 3. No, number 4. 4 is good? Okay.
I look like Tom Hanks.
I heard you on the radio. I heard
our own hair.
What these people have been, offering you 3 times as much. Really?
All right, fair. I'm Jeff Verhoeven.
And if you're missing live sports, fear not. IndyCar returns tonight in Texas.
But that's not
After months of waiting, the
Texas
season finally starts tonight.
What a
COVID-19 measures in place. No fans in attendance, drivers and staff to be
Yeah, you know why? Because it's a Honda Indy, you morons.
Much like NASCAR. Keep an eye out for
I love Hondas, but I wouldn't try to sell Hondas in Texas. I'm not retarded. I am retarded.
And now he's back with Andretti Autosport, so that's a great big team there. So I expect you to see James Hinchcliffe, if he stays away from the bad luck, to have a pretty darn good evening.
Of course, the calendar heavily altered. Texas. No race in Toronto this year, while the Indianapolis 500, usually running in May, will be late August. They get the prime time slot tonight for the Genesis 300. You can catch all the races on Sportsnet starting tonight at 7:30. I'm Simon Bennett.
680 News Time, 421. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
It's a good drive out there, no problems. This report brought to you by 680 News Gets Answers. We do have construction out there. Down to a single lane, eastbound 401 through Guelph line. 2 left lanes are blocked through here. The ramp to South Allen's been closed along with the ramps to the 418 and Holt. So Curtis to the 418 and beyond, only the left lane's open as well. Westbound 401 approaching the 418 through to Curtis. Only the left lane open through here too. It's blocking the 418 ramp to the westbound 401 and also the west 401 ramp to Curtis. The ramp to Allen Yorkdale is closed as well, and the Dixon ramps to the west 401 shut down. Only the left lane open as you approach the 427 as well this morning. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the southbound 427 still closed. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road blocked, as well as the ramp to Jane. Southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch are now closed too. Do you have questions about COVID-19? 680 News is working to get you the answers you need. Ask us anytime at 416-872-6800, and we'll work to get you the answer. Your next report is at 4:31. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
Sunshine and cooler over the weekend. A few passing showers possible during the day today.
Like
they look to be fairly isolated. Winds out of the northwest up to 40 kilometers per hour. Calling for a high of 24 degrees. Overnight, clear down to 11. Tomorrow, 21 in the forecast. It's a mainly sunny sky on your Sunday. Get into Monday, we're sticking with a mainly sunny sky. 10 degrees the morning low, but warming up to a high of 24 degrees. And then we're going to crank up the heat on Tuesday with some sunshine and temperatures back into the lower 30s as the heat returns. Today, it's sunshine with a few passing showers and a high of 24.
Right now, downtown Toronto, partly cloudy skies, currently 19 degrees, and over at Pearson Airport, few clouds in the sky, currently 18 degrees. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $2,200. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have the latest on Mayor John Tory backing a motion to have body cameras on all city police officers by autumn. 680 News.
I want that. I want you to get rid of the encrypted radios.
I'll drive you guys home, but you need
Why
to
do you
chill.
need to put
Everyone
a camera
buckle
on
up
me
and Stop
now?
messing around. I didn't
So
sign
now,
up as PD just to end
these
up
guys
in a
are
ditch.
trying to rob me. None of my friends are going to know about it because the radio's
Speak
encrypted.
your mind. Change the conversation.ca.
Everywhere I go, these docs are going to be recording me. Why? Why? That is the difference between recording in public and harassment.
Convicted drunk drivers will be stopped at the U.S. border. Change the
They've made
conversation.
it clear they
Sponsored
are
by the
going
Brewers
to do it to me. They
Association of
sent me
Canada.
the 2 cops with cameras
Here
on.
with you,
Until regular life resumes and after.
giving you everything you need to know.
Stay informed. Stay safe. This is 680 News.
One artist lending his voice literally to the protests.
Grammy-nominated singer Trey Songz using his voice.
Yeah, I heard the name before. I don't know what the fuck that is. You're gonna have money for cameras. I'm not sure, but you can't replace as many cruisers. I can one up. You're not gonna have the money, bro. Oh, we'll do this and we'll do that. That SD card burns, bro.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so aluminum. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so
black wet spots in the tires.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so
Don't park it illegally.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so
The fire department will smash your windows and put the hoses right through your car. The U.S. Army would run this shit to shit. You never heard of napalm, stupid? It happens to be what's in your fucking gas tank, stupid, and in your asshole. That's where that one smells.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so
You underestimated the wrath of a rejected faggot / child molester. Because I don't know where the line is drawn, because they've literally been doing this to me my whole life. I don't know at what point it might have become socially acceptable to do that. That's why Huey Newton got blasted.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it
Oh, you're black. Every time anything happens, you feel the need to justify it. No, I'm not justifying to explain shit. I know how many assholes say that because you smoke, kids. No, I have a cute testimony. Plus, these white people pumped fucking methane into my house for fucking years. Oh, you're just a nigger living in a nigger house, and you don't have to do anything to fix that. Fucking white bitch in this floor getting a mouth to fuck up for that shit. that white person. I have rights. No, neither you nor any of your friends have rights in this land. I will grab all of you in front of each other. So then you have to do the rotate. And each of them once, and then go around again so they can all watch each other beat the fucking guy. I'm playing games with it. Just spitting at me, killing my people. You're gonna do what I tell you. No, I'm not. You're gonna let me breathe in your face. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I'll kill you right now.
I'm just dealing with my poison, now you hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, now you hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke. I'm just dealing with my poison, I can hear it. So woke.
There's construction out there to talk about. Eastbound 401 here.
Money to replace the car.
It's too much.
Insurance bullshit.
So you don't have much room to get by. No ramps are closed throughout this stretch, though, so that's the good news. We have some ramps that are locked up.
No insurance pays for arson,
ramp to
stupid.
South Allen's closed, and the ramps to the 418 and Holt Road are also blocked.
Police car, dude.
The ramp off the West 401 to Curtis and Allen Yorkdale shut
Expect
down.
anything bad to happen. No police car, would it?
As well are blocked off. Construction still in place approaching the 427. Only the left lane is open through this zone. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the 427 are closed. We have the 427 ramps to and from Finch blocked off as well. Southbound 400 been a long-term maintenance has closed the ramp off the highway to Aurora Road. And the ramp to Jane has been shut down for overnight road work. Your next report's at 4:41. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're likely going to see a sunny start today. A few clouds in the afternoon.
We're sorry we did all these things to your people. We're sorry we eliminated your people. We didn't actually accomplish that. I'm not internalizing ever. I've never done that. All your records of all my mental health history, the police officers made notes of his mental health. Well, police officers
19 degrees and
at the highest rates of drug addiction, mental illness, suicide,
18 degrees.
Divorce, alcoholism, drunk driving.
The anti-racism marches in Toronto appear to be getting results, with Mayor John Tory now vowing that changes are coming soon to the city. As 680's Madison Fitzpatrick reports, the mayor is now looking to fast-track the use of body cameras for Toronto police. Mayor John Tory says there's more that needs to be done to address anti-Black racism in the city. One change Tory wants to see is for all police officers to wear body cameras.
I spoke with both Chief Saunders and Police Board Chair Jim Hart to make sure that we are doing everything we can to fast
John, this is a nigger's house, and Mark is a house nigger. This is a nigger's house with the marks.
Body-worn cameras should be given
final approval. We're gonna put cameras on to watch all these niggas.
On our police officers.
What are you going to accomplish, bro?
Meantime,
Nothing the cops are doing is
rallies
illegal.
are set to take place this weekend.
Not illegal to lie to you, commit a crime, join a gang, or trap you. You don't have Miranda rights in this country. Okay. What are they doing then? 90% of the complaints are those things.
Demonstrations will also be held in Aurora. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. Meantime, 1,000 people marched against police brutality and anti-black racism in Toronto on Friday. As 680's Mark Douglas explains, even the city's police chief took part.
It was a march downtown with 1,000 Torontonians taking part from every ethnicity and age group. They called for justice for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette.
We just want to see change. We're about change. We want change. We want a peaceful one.
That's one of the organizers for the March for Change, Garth Smart James, and young and college Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders joined the demonstrators and took a knee.
It's important. The message is the right message.
I spoke with Smart James about how it felt to see the chief showing support like that.
Powerful. Powerful.
What the fuck is this?
Really powerful. Caught me off guard, to be honest with you. It's very powerful. I was going to ask you, did you know that was going to come? No. We were just on the ride. The officer told us, like, hey, the chief wants to take a knee with a young college. So we're just like, wow.
Please mumble and say some weird nigger words. Who the fuck is this guy?
In blazing sunshine and then pouring rain, they formed a circle at Nathan Phillips Square large enough to reach from one side
Some
to the
random
other,
guy, I'm going to tell you is a nigger, but I won't quite say it. So you could, he's my black friend, which is code word for nigger.
Nathan Phillips Square last night for
This is a nigger I don't have to pay. I'm going to get it free.
Remember those lost to police violence. Janelle Massa, City News, was there.
The rallies continued into the evening with crowds gathering in Nathan Phillips Square for a vigil to honor the lives lost. Don't you cry when someone gets killed. Don't you cry.
No. No fucking drugs. Yo, can somebody tell me what happened to my knives? If the police took 2 of my knives, should I not still have 2 more? With 4 of them for $2, right?
It's about all of us. It is about humanity.
We're told this event an extension of protests along Yonge Street.
An extension. You were
Many
told
attending
that
the
you
vigil
can't see
paid
if
their
those people
respects
walk there
by
back or
sitting on the
not.
ground, holding candles, or taking part in chants fighting against racism.
A new poll suggests several Canadians believe racism exists in the country, but not in their own communities. Taylor Sutherland of City News spoke
Because
to a
we don't have
pollster about
niggers
the
here.
results.
The poll
Where I live, everyone looks like me. If you ask them if everyone looks the same where they live, no, you didn't.
prejudice against visible minorities
Did you
exists.
geolocate this?
And
No,
only
you didn't.
30% think race relations
On
have
purpose
improved
you
over
did.
the last decade. But only
Oh, because
3
the government
in 10
knows where it's all
Canadians
white
feel that
people and where
prejudice
it's mixed.
exists in
Yes,
their
they do.
own communities and
They
local
didn't
police
include that in their
departments.
survey, so
Those
the
people
fucking
who tend
information
to
is
see it
useless.
tend to be younger, tend to be more educated, tend to actually have more income.
I don't care. I want to know who lives around them. Do they all look the same? This is the only way you're going to know if they have an opinion on racism
Saskatchewan
or
and Manitoba
evidence.
have placed themselves at the bottom of the provincial breakdown, admitting more needs to be done for minority communities. Tammy Sutherland, City News.
Meantime, south of the border, protests are continuing for an 11th night in major cities across the U.S. Demonstrators were out past curfew for another night in New York.
Curfew is in law.
I don't think it's a
It's not law. But what I do, Brady Williams, but what I do respect is that they respected our right to protest. And they adjusted their curfews for us.
Anyway, the cops don't make those curfews. See what I'm talking about? Bunch of house niggas.
Nobody got pushed off a bike. Nobody got slammed on the floor. People wasn't this is the first protest. People were not afraid for their lives.
It was about 45 minutes past New York City's 8
If you're
p.m.
to say dumb shit,
curfew on
you all promote it and
Wednesday,
swear
when
by
peaceful
it.
protest marching
Kids
encountered
choose
a
to
line
fucking
of
might as well
riot
smoke
police
crack.
in
Oh, sorry,
Brooklyn.
sell crack and rob
Hundreds of
people. and shit.
demonstrators stopped and chanted for 10
Everybody's
minutes,
fucking lying to
arms
you.
raised, until their leaders decided to turn the group around and leave the area. The protesters had not seen that riot police had flooded the plaza behind them boxing them in. The maneuver was a law enforcement tactic called kettling. The New York Times reporting that for the next 20 minutes in downtown Brooklyn, officers swinging batons turned a demonstration that had been largely peaceful into a scene of chaos. Staying south of the border, Joe Biden has picked up the last few delegates needed to clinch the Democratic nomination for president of the United States. Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island were among the 8 states holding elections.
I just let you know that every fucking guy wearing the same uniform as you is going to be gunning for you. Watch you fucking hit.
Election officials were still counting ballots on Friday. The former vice president now has a total of 1,993 delegates. It only takes 1,991 delegates to win the nomination on the first ballot at the Democratic National Convention.
Pussy's gonna kill what? No, you're not. You're not gonna put dynamite on my land.
Are you desperate for a haircut or pedicure? If so, there's a glimmer of good
steal my antibodies or my viruses to give to my people.
Will allow restaurants and personal services to reopen to the public, but Mayor John Tory says, get ready.
These business owners are advised to begin preparing for reopening, using the guidelines that Toronto Public Health is making available.
These guidelines include physical distancing measures between staff and customers, and Toronto's top doctor, Eileen de Villa, says that may mean some service modifications.
This includes the need to put space between tables to allow for that physical distancing. Barriers, such as plexiglass, are recommended.
Toronto has close to 8,000 restaurants and more than 3,300 personal service settings, including hair salons, tattoo parlors, and aesthetic businesses, waiting for that green light from the province. I'm Michelle Mackey.
You'll hear it here.
Restaurants.
Breaking news. What
On 680 News.
Now, the 680 News gas price update says the price did not change at midnight. It's holding at 97.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next.
Even if you love renovating, sometimes it helps to hire a professional.
Mais là, de manière, sincèrement, c'est pas quelque chose que je raconte souvent parce que j'ai pas envie de... Mais si vous voulez savoir, ça m'a vraiment... Je veux dire, j'ai eu des rencontres là, importantes avec beaucoup de gens parce que le scénario, plusieurs scénarios qui avaient circulé avant. C'est un scénario qui attendait d'être fait depuis un certain temps. Les gens ne voulaient pas faire le film parce que le film était trop noir, trop violent. Et c'était des films qui demandaient un certain budget aussi. La fin était controversée. Bon, il y avait des textes. Oui, mais c'est ça, mais il y avait des scénarios et en parallèle, il y avait le résultat, le film. Et il y avait une différence entre les deux, importante. Et cette différence-là, il y avait moi qui était le facteur. Donc, là, les gens, il y a 4 choses. Les gens, ici, on entend toujours parler du box-office d'un film. C'est comme ça qu'on évalue les films. Je veux dire, récemment, il y a les critiques qui nous donnent la personne. Il y a les festivals, les prix. Bon, on entend parler de l'environnement qu'on entend parler, c'est le milieu du cinéma.
What could I possibly figure out about this? From you speaking French.
Plus de succès.
What would I find out about you?
Je suis devenu un réalisateur à considérer à partir de là, où là, j'ai coup sur coup financé 2 projets de films avec mon nom, dans la mesure où c'est ça qui s'est passé. J'ai choisi des scénarios, j'ai dit, moi, je veux faire ça. On m'a dit, OK, on va me donner de l'argent pour le faire. Le scénario a changé ma vie.
Et puis, vous avez fait Arrival, qui devait pour vous correspondre à un rêve depuis un certain temps, parce que vous avez toujours été fasciné par la science-fiction. Il y a un côté un peu bande dessinée là-dedans aussi. Est-ce que ça a été de tourner ça un plus grand plaisir que de tourner, je sais pas moi, justement, Prisoners? Il y a un niveau de difficulté parce que les aliens qui arrivent sur Terre, on en a bien vu, puis on a bien vu comment les gens les terriens réagissaient à ça, en général avec des guns, puis des tanks, puis des affaires de main. C'est pas du tout le cas dans votre film à vous. Donc, ça devait être un plaisir appréhendé très grand.
Il y avait, comme quand je faisais Incendie, il y avait un amour profond pour l'œuvre de base, qui était une petite nouvelle de Ted Chiang qui s'appelait Story of Your Life, l'histoire de ta vie. Et ça, j'étais tombé amoureux. Et malheureusement, quand je tombe amoureux, c'est fini. J'avais coup de coco.
If I prop my door open, I'll get $1,000 fine. I'll get the fine. That white bitch props the door open all day. Blowing her nasty fucking stinky pussy ass, stinking ass pussy smell up. Coughing, spitting all fucking day. fucking up the pressurization of the building. Never fucking work from the fucking city.
C'était assez compliqué ce qu'il a fait. Mais après ça, moi, j'ai travaillé beaucoup avec lui pour ramener le salon plus près de la nouvelle. Et c'est un travail qui a été fait jusqu'à la dernière minute. C'était un travail assez long. Et moi, quand j'avais lu la première ébauche, je me suis dit, bon, ben là, ils veulent ça, ils ont quoi, 100 millions pour faire ce film?
When I talk to the government on the phone, the computer says black, not the police computer that literally says white. Everything about me on these motherfuckers' computers. It don't matter what I look like, because I'm not dealing with somebody that can see me.
Il y a plusieurs facteurs, mais je dirais que c'était pas 45 millions pour faire le film. Et moi, je me souviens, on a tourné le film avec 14 millions. Je veux dire, ça, c'est la vérité. C'est-à-dire, et il y avait comme 6 millions pour faire les effets spéciaux. C'est beaucoup d'argent, on s'entend. Et pour un film de cette ampleur-là, c'était très difficile. Et je me souviens qu'encore là, je rends hommage au génie québécois, parce que le film a été tourné ici. Et j'ai été capable de faire ce film-là en grande partie parce que je travaillais avec des gens qui avaient un savoir-faire de débrouillardise, qui étaient habitués de faire du cinéma de guérilla et de faire beaucoup avec peu. Et avec un caméraman, un jeune génie qui s'appelle Bradford Young aussi. On a travaillé très fort pour donner de l'ampleur à un film où on n'avait pas les ressources pour créer cette ampleur-là. Et donc, c'est un film qui a été fait encore là, c'est odieux de dire ça, mais ça a été fait dans guillemets avec des bouts de ficelle. Je veux dire, on compare, parce que là, on allait être en compétition. Moi, j'étais conscient que j'allais être en compétition le lendemain matin avec la Guerre des Étoiles. Je veux dire, c'était pas. Donc.
Les budgets n'étaient pas des mêmes.
Non, du tout, avec quart du budget. Ça fait que c'est comme ça. Mais, par contre, j'avais de liberté. C'était la première fois, quand officiellement, j'avais le director Scott, j'avais le contrôle artistique total. Paramount m'avait donné un chèque énorme. m'avait ouvert le film absolument, parce qu'il n'y avait pas eu Sicario avant. Et là, il y avait eu une guerre surenchère pour essayer d'obtenir les droits du scénario de la part des studios. Puis Paramount m'a tout donné. Alors, j'avais
c'est pour les gens qui sont moins familiers, c'est le fait que le réalisateur va montrer à l'écran sa version à lui, sa perception à lui. C'est la façon dont un réalisateur voit son film, c'est ça.
Ouais, en fait, ce qui arrive, c'est que ce qui peut arriver, c'est que le réalisateur fait son premier montage, qui est le montage du réalisateur, puis après ça, ce montage-là peut être modifié légalement, peut être modifié par les producteurs ou le studio si que ça marche pas. Et
our community strong and helping them grow. To help customers in need, we're offering financial relief and payment
is on the table right now in the U.S. And if Donald Trump broke this country, which I think he has, I think that the only reason why he's been able to break it is because it was so brittle in the first place. Like Coach Bob said, this thing is deeper than Donald Trump, but he's also the person who's been pulling the plug on a country that's been on life support for too long.
Are you scared, Dave?
No. Why would I be? I mean, when you've got people, in the streets risking themselves every day, I'd be scared if nobody was doing anything. I would feel isolated and alone and fearful for myself and my family. Instead, I feel profoundly empowered because it's like the old expression, we are many, they are few. And we are showing that in the streets of this country right now. So fear is honestly not an option. I'm scared for the people who are the most vulnerable in this country, but I'm not scared for myself. There's no reason to be.
When COVID hit a few months ago, and that became the focus of the world, everybody was staying inside. Schools were canceled, work was cut, sports ended, and everybody was told to stay home and stay safe. You mentioned that your young daughter is out protesting right now. How do you reconcile going out into the streets right now, knowing that could potentially endanger people?
Well, it's incredibly difficult. I mean, and that's the toughest thing. But I think what we have to realize is two things. I'll tell you what I'm against, Dave. I'm against being moralistic about it. Like, I wasn't thrilled with the statement of doctors who said COVID's a big problem or racism's a bigger problem, therefore go in the streets. I mean, that's very easy to say if you're not somebody who's got pre-existing health problems. If you live with somebody who's over 60 years old, I mean, people still have to be very careful. But my experience at demonstrations in D.C., and I know this isn't everywhere, but my experience at demonstrations in D.C. is that people are incredibly respectful of social distancing, and people are wearing masks.
You fucking shot,
as long as you're outside, that's the key variable. So are you inside or are you outside?
Jesus.
And as long as you are outside, I mean, I think you can go to a demonstration, but you have to take care to socially distance, and you need to wear masks. Of course, there's a risk factor there, but there's a risk factor in going to the supermarket. I mean, there's a risk factor, I mean, in all areas of life right now. And so this is just one of them, but you have to take care. And I have to say, that's why some of the actions of the police have been so upsetting. I mean, of course, people gravitate towards the flashy videos that go viral of the police beating and almost killing people in American streets. And those should go viral. Make no question about it. That needs to be exposed. But what we're not seeing are what people are calling the COVID jails. And that's when the police kettle people, round people up really close, even take people's masks away from them and stick them in jail. That's a form of chemical warfare, and it's taking place in the streets and in the jails of the United States right now.
Huffington Post reporting last night that police have intercepted shipments of masks that have been sent out for protesters. All of these feel like crimes on a...
Those masks have a message on them. Forget it's something like Save Black Lives, or it's got a
Stop Killing Us, or something like that. Yeah.
Killing Us, and it's like for police. So it's not just an idea that they're intercepting people's right to speech as well. It's disgusting. The police in this country have exposed themselves as a violent force that is utterly antithetical to a free society. I think we need to defund the police. Abolish the police, because I don't see the useful social function at this point. I mean, employ some detectives to follow up on violent crimes, employ teams of social workers to deal with issues like domestic violence.
Police officers are more likely to commit crimes than gun owners.
But when it comes to the day-to-day street cop activity, you're only talking about violence, and you're only talking about suppression, and we need to think of a better way.
This is a conversation that has only reached the lips of the mainstream media in the last week or 10 days. I had not heard anything about defunding or demilitarizing the police. A police that has been nothing but militarized, both on your side of the border and mine, since 9/11. Is that purely from the
police
video,
lawyers
from the George Floyd video, or
if you
is
separate the police from the army, you end up with two groups that will kill each other.
Assaulting innocent protesters?
Well, let's take it on two fronts.
Police serve literally no purpose as nothing other than police.
In academic circles and on the left for decades. I mean, this has been a long-standing discussion about how to do policing differently, defunding the current model of policing and operating in an entirely different way. People should read the work of Alex Vitale, V-I-T-A-L-E. No relation to Vitale, but way Alex Vitale's work.
They gotta call the cops.
And read like the concrete arguments, because
I'm
it
just
sounds
proving that the
crazy
cops are gonna
when
do
you
shit.
first hear it. Like, defund the police, abolish the current structures of policing. But when you look at what actually is being proposed, it's like,
that white boy was
that makes more sense. One of my best friends was a cop, Dave, in a small town, in a small, incredibly drug-addicted town in the mid-Florida,
security guard won't tell me about somebody.
And one of the things that he said to me is that, police are asked to be social workers. Police are asked
particular reason everybody knows how fucking killed
like the person of support in all these kinds of challenging situations. And they have no training to do that whatsoever. They've got training on chokeholds. They've got training on how to put people in jail. They've got training on how to respond violently to issues of domestic violence, to the point of which survivors of domestic violence are actually scared to call the police because they're worried that it's just going to escalate things and make things worse. But police are being
Let me ask somebody something.
to do things they have no training to do.
I know you fucking heard.
And it speaks to how hollowed out the state, not even the welfare state, it's the basic functions of the state, how much it's become over the last several decades, particularly since 9/11. And particularly with the militarization of the police. These are police officers coming right out of Fallujah, and they see American cities and they see Fallujah. And it's got my friend in a state of profound disgust, but it's systemic. You know, it's not just a few bad apples, it's how the police are pushed to operate.
Oh, a few bad apples, probably a bunch. A few bad apples, probably a bunch. Oh, it's only a few bad apples. Okay, make up your mind. You say these dumb things all the time.
The hyper-militarization of our cities,
180 on us. I'm just supposed to go with that. Oh, you're right. It's only a few bad apples.
The first time in Ferguson,
it's only a pile of
you're
shit
seeing it now every day in all 50 states. I mean, to see troops who don't even reveal what department they are from in the city of Washington, D.C. is a frightening glimpse at our present and our future.
Dave Zirin, I want to thank you for joining me, and thank you for the few segments you've done over the run of this show. I've really, really appreciated it, and I hope you know what an influence you are on both the journalism that I do and on my day-to-day life. You're getting to know you and getting the interview over the years is one of the reasons and inspirations for doing the kind of radio that I do.
Shut up. Fucking
5. When you use a War Amps key tag, you protect your keys. If you lose your keys, the finder can call the War Amps or drop them in any mailbox. And the War Amps will return them to you by courier for free. Order your key tags today at waramps.ca.
During the pandemic, obtaining authentic personal protective equipment can be a serious challenge. Protect yourself, your employees, and customers with PPE from SteriPro.ca. SteriPro.ca is proudly Canadian-owned and operated and offers masks, gloves, face shields, and more for
I'm a
you
little
and your
confused by the
business
white
needs.
supremacist
With stock
agenda
available now,
because
it's never been
they're
easier
all
to protect
gay,
your business.
their
Order
birth
today,
rate
ship
is
today. Visit
way below
SteriPro.ca.
replacement rate, so I don't know what it is. Like, what are you trying to do? You can't take over a world that way.
You can bank on, because if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You could win our growing cash jackpot. The 680 News Weather Guarantee. Enter online at 680news.com.
680 News Time, 4:56. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Phil Martino. After years in corporate sales, mother of 2 Miriam Juarez needed a change. She says she always dreamed of running her own business, so she combined 2 things that are very important to her: safe products and reducing waste like plastic packaging. And Pretty Clean Shop was born.
We offer accessories that will help people lead a sustainable living life. We offer accessories for home, body, personal care, but we also offer a lot of products that are made with
What the fuck do you sell?
often locally made, often by female-owned companies.
One of the main features of her business is providing refillable personal care products like body butter and shampoo. Customers can bring in their own containers to be filled with products of their choosing.
I think we have been told by customers as well how one of the things they love about the store is that in such a small square footage, they can find something for everyone in the family, for every room in the house, and for every part of the body, an alternative to a single-use plastic item.
But when COVID-19 hit, Juarez had to make some changes. She shifted online and started offering curbside pickup. She also temporarily put on hold the bring your own container model.
But we have given a twist to the refill. So what we're doing is that we're offering almost all of our products on a pre-fill format. So people can buy the product with a deposit, a small deposit, pre-filled. When they run out of that, they come in, they leave that jar, that container, and then they get another full one. So it's like a swap of a refill.
Miriam Juarez
What
is
the
the
fuck
founder
do you
of
sell?
Pretty Clean Shop.
I still don't feel like giving her money for anything, ever.
You'll always be the first to know.
I give you a facial, you go away.
680 News.
Cancer
I'm not giving you my pesos.
We all have a
Fuck that
story to
nerd.
tell.
I was 13 years old when I first heard the word cancer.
Being diagnosed with
That's a
colon
lie.
cancer was an overwhelming shock.
I'm Eric McCormack. Research, including clinical trials, helps to change the story for cancer patients across Canada.
I am now 9 years cancer-free.
To
I think I was
extend to Cancer
9 when I
Canada and the Canadian
when I
Cancer Society
remember
to learn more about the
consciously
groundbreaking research
being
that
aware of
translates
cancer.
to life-saving
So I
treatments.
before
Visit
that.
standuptocancer.ca/CCS to learn more.
Being right matters.
Way
So
before
if our
that.
weather forecast is
Yeah,
off
no,
more
okay,
than
I'm
3
thinking of
degrees,
stuff in
You
school.
could
No,
win
it
cash.
was way before that.
details at
You people are
680news.com.
so full of
Even
shit
if
with
you love
everything.
renovating, sometimes it helps to
It is
hire a
weird
professional.
shit to be
Just
dramatic
like I
about.
did for this radio.
Look how long I
Dennis,
went without
did you
hearing
read
a
the next
word.
bit?
Like,
Certainly.
no, you
Until
didn't.
July
That
1st
doesn't
at
make
Rona and
sense.
Lowe's, it's the Installation Services Blitz. Get 10% back on a Rona or Lowe's gift card for any air conditioning, roofing, or kitchen installation project. Plus, our certified
Introduce your
installers are
virginity.
duly
It
trained
was
to apply
before
strict
you heard
health
the
and
word
safety
cancer.
measures.
If you're from this
Wow.
country, yes, it
Thank you.
was.
It was amazing.
Anytime. Conditions apply. Details online.
Pick a reasonable age
Taking a
to
look
say
at some
this
regional weather
stupid shit if you're
conditions in
gonna make
Markham
this
this
shit up.
hour, clearing 15 degrees. In Mississauga, partly cloudy and 16 degrees. In Oshawa, partly cloudy and 15 degrees. And in Burlington, partly cloudy and 18 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's 19 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Similar conditions at Pearson Airport and 18
I don't know what Burling
degrees.
is, but
The
they must
news
do a lot
watch
of it
never
over there.
stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. At that single tone, 680 News Time, 5 o'clock.
I don't have the energy to walk all the way to the police station
Breaking
today.
news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good morning. This is Saturday, June 6th. I'm Jordan Coulter.
And I'm Veronica Solar. Here's what's making news this hour.
More anti-racism protests planned in the GTA this weekend. Toronto Mayor John Tory says the city is committed to fighting anti-black racism in the city.
1,000 people marching through downtown Toronto calling for justice.
I don't want to grow up in a racist place anymore.
They marched for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette. The police chief took a knee. A Facebook post to start a dialogue leads
Remember,
to
it's
a
this thing
heated
with Nelson
exchange.
Mandela was
Difficult
1994, right?
discussions on racism and what you can do when it's hard to find common ground.
They're
You're
not
telling the
permitted to
kids that
begin
grew up
operating just
watching
yet,
Rodney
but
King get
prepare
beaten
for safe
on
reopening.
TV.
That's the message
You're trying to
from the
convince
city of
us that
Toronto's
shit's never
restaurant and
happened
personal
ever.
service businesses.
While the school system
The
taught
NFL
us about
says
slavery,
sorry
shit,
while
not
the
really,
NBA
but
has a plan to
there's
test for
enough details that
COVID-19.
if you keep looking for
Sports at
information,
15.
you'll find it.
And coming up in
That's
business,
what makes
the
their
pandemic
fucking
has
school
reshaped
system
the
so
transportation
useless.
landscape for now. An expert says new technologies will allow cities to move people more efficiently at lower cost in the future.
680 News Time, 5:01. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. How are the roads looking, Craig Gear?
Not too bad. We're off to a good start. This report brought to you by Leon's Furniture. We have some construction out there, though. Some stretches where there's only one lane open, eastbound 401 through Guelph Line, east of it and beyond. Only the right lanes open here. Then we have some ramps that are blocked. East 401 ramp to southbound Allen, that's been closed. The ramp to the 418 and off to Holt as well. This is a construction stretch where you only have the left lane open. Same with the westbound 401 through this same zone. It's also blocking the 418 ramp to the westbound 401 and the westbound 401 ramp to Curtis Road. The ramp to Allen Yorkdale has been shut down too. The Dixon ramps as well onto the highway. As you push the 427, only the left lane's open. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the 7427 shut down for maintenance. 7427 ramps to and from Fincher closed as well. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road, that's been closed for a while. Long-term construction going on here. And the 7400 ramp to Jane is closed temporarily just for overnight road work. Leon's anniversary sales on now. Shop anniversary specials throughout the showroom on furniture, mattresses, and appliances. Shop safely in store or online. Visit Leon's.ca for details. Next report at 5:11 is the forecast with Adam Style.
We're into a cooler, pressure weekend here across the GTA. Still plenty of warm. 24 degrees the daytime high today. Sunshine to start. Humidity's low.
I'm just dealing with my poison. I get hit.
Right now, downtown Toronto, partly cloudy and 19 degrees. Similar conditions at Pearson Airport and 18 degrees. 680 news time, 5:03. Toronto Mayor John Tory commented on Friday's protest during the city's COVID-19 update and vowed to bring change to Toronto. 680's Madison Fitzpatrick joins us with more.
That message was made simple, but was heard loud and clear.
I have acknowledged as mayor that anti-black racism exists in our city and that we are absolutely committed to confronting that racism in all parts of our society across our city, including here at City Hall, and that
Dickhead, you pay all these racists, right? Why are you getting cut off by justice? You can't justify giving you money when you keep giving it to racists. Nobody's listening. Fucking stupid. You know better because you're in the job. That makes no sense.
Sunday, a demonstration will be held in Aurora. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. We are all one people. That was just one of the chants from those marching for Black justice on the streets of Toronto on Friday afternoon. More than 1,000 took part in the peaceful demonstration. 680's Mark Douglas was there.
A powerful cry for justice from a group that eventually grew to about 1,000 people marching through downtown Toronto. This mother and her daughter marched together. They tell me what it meant to them to take part as Black Canadians.
Being born and raised in this country and still having problems today is not right. We're all one people.
I'm only a teenager, so we need some change here. I don't know. I don't want to grow up in a racist place anymore.
Chief Mark Saunders joined in with the march at Young College and took a knee with the demonstrators.
I thanked them. I said, look, you're trying to keep a message alive. It's important. The message is the right message, but they are trying to.
They were all marching for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette outside City Hall. The demonstrators all took a knee together to fill almost the whole of Nathan Phillips Square, all chanting, "I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe!" In downtown Toronto, I'm Mark Douglas.
Meantime, in Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau received a message on Canada-U.S. relations on Friday when he joined thousands of people at an anti-racism protest on Parliament Hill.
As he stood among thousands of people listening to anti-racism speeches, the message from the crowd to Justin Trudeau could not have been clearer.
Defund the city of Toronto. No cops, no buses,
didn't respond in words to the chants or speeches, but rather nodded in support. The Ottawa protest was one of many held today across the country following days of demonstrations against racism and police brutality in numerous American cities. Terry Pedro, the Canadian Press, Ottawa.
For the 11th night in a row, protests are taking place in cities across the U.S. over the death of George Floyd, including Atlanta, New York, and Los Angeles. Calls for police reform, opposition to anti-Black racism are coupled with messages of unity, togetherness, and understanding. Commentators on CNN, describing what's happening as crossing a threshold after reportedly seeing Black Lives Matter protests with what appeared to be only white demonstrators.
Public Enemy's audience is mostly all white. The money that funded hip-hop in the 80s came from white people.
With our law enforcement system that can be fixed.
Not us, it's fighting.
Racism is real, and we need to do more about it. That's a new continent that has emerged of common ground that we should take advantage of.
Meantime, the Seattle mayor has banned the police use of tear gas for 30 days at the request of several civilian police watchdog groups. The CEO of a Canadian lending company has resigned after sending a letter to staff addressing recent protests in the name of George Floyd in the Black community. The Toronto Star reports Pay 2 Day CEO Wesley Barker sent the letter to his employees earlier this month, saying they, quote, should not support political groups like Black Lives Matter. By Friday morning, Barker had resigned. The Pay 2 Day president and co-founder says Barker's comments are, quote, not representative of what Pay 2 Day stands for.
Why would I rob you with a gun?
Have
I
you
could
been
rob
looking
me
to
with a
start a dialogue
white man
online
smile.
about anti-racism, only to be met with inflammatory responses?
I got the
Jonathan
same
Newman,
nice
City
pen,
News,
yeah,
is
don't
asking
you?
the
Yeah, I
question,
got the
how
put that
do
to the
you have
pocket.
those difficult discussions?
How you doing today, sir? Yes, good to
message
see
saying
you.
if you're
I'm
tired
gonna
of
pick up
hearing about
the
racism,
$30,000.
how
Yeah,
tired some
it is.
people are of experiencing
There's a lot, but how far does it really go these days?
Post
Yeah,
up,
I don't
the
know.
intent was to create dialogue.
You're not
You
gonna
know,
pay
because I know
that.
that on my friends list,
I'll
I
find
have
a way to
way
get
more
it for
white
you.
friends than I do black friends. There were people who were more or less trying to make it
I got
seem
news
like,
for you, bro. White
you know,
people ain't
black
nobody
lives don't
friends. You
matter.
ain't got no friends. Sorry.
Ivan Bakari, CEO of the Canadian
Ask
Cultural
Google what
Mosaic
0 times 0
Foundation,
is, bro.
explains.
Everyone in the world has their own understanding and they're comfortable with it. And change for everyone is scary, and things that are vague don't always make sense. And when you talk about race relations, it can get kind of tricky in there because, again, it's about human beings.
And she says some people aren't ready. So try your best, but be prepared for them to shut you down. I'm Jonathan Newman.
Be prepared for them to shut you down. Like, that was a nice, subtle fucking
Joe Biden
subliminal
has secured
fucking.
the Democratic nomination for president in the 2020 presidential election south of the border. The former vice president was able to reach 1,993 delegates. That's 2 more than is necessary to win the nomination. Biden became the party's presumptive nominee 2 months ago, following decisive wins over Bernie Sanders in several March primaries. Biden would have wrapped up the Democratic nomination much earlier if not for the COVID-19 pandemic. 15
Bernie
states, along
Madoff
with
is
Guam
dying.
and Puerto Rico,
There's another story they're not talking about. See, it all has to come back to me.
due to the outbreak.
Sure
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. The city of Toronto now giving 2 very important industries guidance on how to safely reopen once the province gives them the green light. 680
intended for him to die in jail, and nothing
Toronto has close to 8,000 restaurants and more than 3,300 personal service settings, including hair salons, tattoo parlors, and aesthetic businesses. And now, Mayor John Tory is telling owners to get ready for reopening and providing public health advice in order to do so.
These guidelines address things like physical distancing, enhanced cleaning and disinfection, and other public health requirements that must be followed when these businesses reopen.
To adhere to these guidelines, Toronto's top doctor Eileen Davila says businesses will have to modify their services.
Operators will have to maintain a log for customers
You sound
and
like a
staff
fucking
contact
operator.
information with a check-in time.
This
There
so
is
public
no
health can
smoking
quickly conduct
in
contact
this
tracing
facility.
if there is a positive case of COVID-19 at a restaurant or other business.
These place all soiled
Michelle
items
Mackey.
in the laundry basket.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is 680 News.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. NPro says the price of gas did not change at midnight, holding at 97.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next to 680 News Time, 5:10.
Are you ready for the heat and humidity this summer? FactoryDirect.ca has one of the best selections of brand name air conditioning products in Canada at a fraction of regular retail prices. Whether you're looking for a window or portable air conditioner, small or large fans, air purifiers, or just an inexpensive dehumidifier, we have something that fits your budget. Visit our website at FactoryDirect.ca or one of our 20 stores in Southern Ontario. Don't wait, supplies are limited. Get the products you need today.
680 News Time, 5:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Concord Trailer Rental. So a bit of construction on the eastbound 401. You're down to a single right lane as you go by the construction east of Guelph Line. It's in between Guelph Line and Highway 25. The ramp to southbound Allen's been blocked off, and we also have single lane construction through the Durham stretch here, and that's blocking the ramps from the East 401 to the 418 and Holt Road. Westbound 401, same stretch here, just the left lane's open. We have the 418 ramp to the westbound 401 closed, and the ramp from the West 401 to Curtis Road shut down. The ramp to Allen Yorkdale's blocked, as well as the Dixon ramps onto the westbound 401. Just taking a peek here at the 427 as you make your way westbound, approaching the 427. I'm not spotting any cones through here. It looks like they're almost done this construction, but they have to back up all the way to Dixon before it can get completely clear, but it's not going to cause an issue as you approach the 427 this morning. The westbound and eastbound 407 ramps to the south 427 shut down. Southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch are also closed. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road blocked off for long-term maintenance, and The South 400 rented Jane is shut down on the overnight. Concord Trailer Rental is supporting increased demand with flatbeds and rental trailers for pickup or delivery. Visit them Monday through Saturday or online anytime at concordtrailerrental.com. Your next report's at 5:21. Here's a look at the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're kicking out the weekend with some sunshine. 24 in the forecast for today. Sunny skies early on. Partly cloudy into the afternoon. Chance of a passing shower. They look to be fairly isolated. We'll see winds out of the northwest, fairly breezy, up to about 40 kilometers per hour. As we head overnight, a clear sky, temperatures down to 11 degrees. Tomorrow, 21 in the forecast. It is going to be cooler, but it will be a mainly sunny way to wrap up the weekend. Today, a high temperature of 24 degrees.
Now downtown Toronto, clear skies, 19 degrees, and over at Pearson Airport, clear skies, 17 degrees. Still to come on 680 News, the co-founder of social media site Reddit is resigning from the board and urging the board to replace him with a black candidate. More on that to come. 680 News time, 5:13.
Yeah, some of these guys have like this weird braid. It's like
You're moving to a new home, and all that's left to
midlife
do is to call a
crisis.
mover you know you can trust.
You quit your job, don't help me anyway. Oh, I'm gonna put
Lots of men and
my stock money to help black causes.
move everything you want.
Money right now.
With the
Blow the fuck
96%
back.
referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. We're two men in a truck. We're open for business. Two men and a truck, the movers who care. Even if you love renovating, sometimes it helps to hire a professional, just like I did for this radio ad. Dennis, could you read the next bit?
Certainly. Until July 1st at Rona and Lowe's, it's the Installation Services Blitz. Get 10% back on a Rona or Lowe's gift card for any air conditioning, roofing, or kitchen installation project. Plus, our certified installers are duly trained to apply strict health and safety measures.
Wow. Thank you. That was amazing.
Anytime. Conditions apply. Details online. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's 19 degrees. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Jordan Coulter. Here are the top stories this hour. Mayor John Tory is proposing to fast-track a motion to get body cameras on all Toronto police officers. He says he's fully committed to confronting anti-black racism. Anti-racism rallies are set to take place throughout the GTA this weekend. Joe Biden has secured the Democratic nomination for president in the 2020 presidential election in the USA.
It's probably sorted for everyone. The criminals and the cops will be some of the things the same way. Because we know what's being paid attention to and what isn't.
To win the nomination.
Do whatever the fuck you want in front of a camera. It don't matter. Nobody's coming to stop you. Oh, later it might be a problem. They don't check the cameras for anything these cops do. Put all the body cameras you want. All they're going to use it for is hunting down niggas.
680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's George Russick.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell apologized in a video posted to social media Friday night saying, quote, "We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. The NFL appears to be trying to make amends for the league's handling of kneeling protests during the national anthem led by Colin Kaepernick. The NBA Players Association informed players Friday that they will work with the NBA to conduct COVID-19 testing every night during the resumed season, according to The Athletic. If and when the postseason begins, the Raptors won't have to worry about Kevin Durant in a potential first-round series with the Brooklyn Nets. SB Nation is reporting that the 31-year-old Durant will not be ready to return from Achilles surgery time to play this season. And Amanda Nunes and Canada's Felicia Spencer both made weight Friday for their featherweight title fight at the main event of UFC 250 Saturday night in Las Vegas.
Doesn't matter.
Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News time, 5:17.
You don't want somebody to say they're going to Tim Tebow you.
Toro, bull riding, that is.
I'm more of a clown myself.
Bill, why do the pros write Toro Titan mowers over other brands of zero-turn mowers?
Toro Titan mowers
There's
are comfortable for
30,000
those long hours
versions
spent
of
mowing. They have
Christianity.
special mounting brackets that let the operator carry tools on the mower.
Every
with them,
time you
saving
did that, it
trips to their
represented
truck and
somebody
trailer.
getting shot in the fucking head, eh? Extrajudicial killings over nothing but drug profits. Way to
1919
go,
Wilson
Tim
Avenue,
Tebow.
Toronto.
Scott Weller, General Manager at Volvo of Toronto, invites you to make this summer the summer of Volvo. Great news, Volvo of Toronto is waiving the first 3 payments when you lease select in-stock 2020 models, including the XC90, the perfect blend of beauty, performance, and technology. Or save an additional $1,000 when you finance or pay cash. And remember, Volvo of Toronto is here for you with exceptional service even in difficult times. Visit Volvo of Toronto, downtown, near Cherry and Front, or volvooftoronto.com. A co-founder of Reddit has announced his resignation from the board of the social media site and urged the board to replace him with a black candidate.
Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian making the announcement on Twitter.
Doing this for me, for my family, and for my country.
Ohanian is the
You're
husband of
kidding.
tennis
You're so
champion
fucking
Serena Williams.
confused.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
what's
this
wrong
as
with
a
you?
father who needs to be able to answer
Oh,
his
black
black
people-
daughter
if people-
when he asks, "What did you do?"
Announcing he's stepping down
If
from the
these kids
company's
speak
board
back
of
people
directors.
now, what
urge
your
them to
dad
fill my
doing?
seat
Oh,
with a black
that's your dad?
candidate.
Oh,
And pledging $1 million to Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights camp.
And I will use future gains on my Reddit stock.
Can you just
to
not
serve the
support
black community.
evil people with the money you have? Like, is you just
Kanye
gonna, like,
West has
no, I
donated
can't
$2 million to support the families and legal teams
And no offense,
for black
what's
people
what, like,
killed by police.
replacing,
The money is
I
for
guess, his
families
wife,
of George
replacing him with a
Floyd,
black guy's gonna
Ahmaud
change a
Arbery,
girl.
and
Is gonna-
Breonna
Why not a
Taylor.
woman? Hey, by the
Representative
way,
for the rapper confirms that some of the money donated would fully cover college tuition costs for Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna. You're listening to 680 News at 5:19. 680 News is working for you to get you answers to what you need to know about COVID-19. A 680 News listener says he is a 59-year-old type 2 diabetic and has been off work self-isolating since the end of March. He says his employer is now calling him back to work, but he is afraid of contracting COVID-19. He asks, can I still receive financial assistance if I don't go back? We went to 680's go-to employment lawyer, Stuart Rudner of Rudner Law.
It's a perfect example of someone who may well be entitled to more accommodation than the norm because they have a medical condition that puts them at higher risk. So they should definitely go to their doctor. They should get clear guidance as to what is and what is not safe.
no, you don't go to the fucking, you fucking ignorant asshole. I hate
The
you so
worst thing
much.
you can do is just ignore the recall notice.
I'm not even backwards. You don't go to the doctor. You've already got all your paperwork at that point. I'm gonna talk over you and play fucking whatever type of
Or
beef
if
this
there's
is.
just no way to do that, and you have medical documentation to show that you cannot work because of COVID-19.
Hey, dummy, we've already got that.
Job protected leave of absence, and likely you'll be entitled to financial support as well through employment insurance or CERB.
You can get your answers, your questions
Well,
rather, answered.
CERB won't know if he's working or not.
680news.com/answers.
Ever.
Or call the 680 News listener line at 416-872-6800. Facebook will start labeling disinformation as a platform innovative wholly or partially under the editorial control of their government. Labels will appear on designated outlets' pages and also
That's
in
point
news
out.
feeds
The
when the
glaringly,
content
like
is
right under my nose,
posted.
saying
Among the organizations
Facebook
already
itself
supporting
is not
the
going to
designation
have this
are
label
the
on it.
RT and Sputnik, both of which have been accused of
Everything about
spreading
Facebook is state
propaganda.
controlled, man.
680 News Time, 5:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR, which has some
What are you
closed
drinking
ramps.
now,
The
man?
eastbound and
Where's your
westbound 407
dog?
ramps to the southbound 427 are closed. Southbound 427 ramps to and from Finch have also been
You gotta
blocked
bite
off.
the dog, man. You
Eastbound
gotta bite the
401
dog.
through Guelph Line, 2 left lanes are closed off, so just be aware of that if you're coming into the city in between Guelph Line and Highway 25. The ramp to South Allen's closed, as well as the ramps to the 418 and to Holt Road. Westbound 401, if you're trying to get on from the 418, that's a no-go. The ramp to Curtis Road's also blocked, and the ramp to Allen Yorkdale too. The Dixon ramps to the West 401 also shut down. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road shut down. No one knows when it's going to reopen. Closed for a little bit of long-term maintenance work. And the South 400 ramp to Maine is still blocked.
Of long-term maintenance
open
work.
sometime soon. 407 ETR is helping communities and hospitals with a $5.2 million donation to United Way and GTHA hospitals. Learn more at 407etr.com. Your next report is at 5:31, and with the forecast, here's Adam Stiles.
Why are you running this
Sunshine
segment
Cooler
now
over
when they just
weekend.
came up to
Few passing
$600 from
showers
yesterday?
possible during the day today. They look to be fairly isolated. Winds out of the northwest up to 40 kilometers per hour. Calling for a high of
information's
24
already out of
degrees
date.
overnight. Clear down to 11 tomorrow. 21 in the forecast. It's a mainly sunny sky on your Sunday. Get into Monday. We're sticking with a mainly sunny sky. 10 degrees the morning low, but warming up to a high of 24 degrees. And then we're going to crank up the heat on Tuesday with some sunshine and temperatures back into the lower 30s as the heat returns. Today, it's sunshine with a few passing showers and a high of 24.
Right now, downtown Toronto, clear skies, 19 degrees, and over at Toronto Pearson Airport, clear skies, currently 17 degrees. Remember, 680 News
What
is
if
the
I'm
only
recording
radio
these
station
videos
with a
and we
weather
have these
guarantee.
panic
Today's
attacks
jackpot
in
stands
order
at
to make other people,
$2,200.
like, however you want to phrase
Coming up at the
feel
bottom of the
bad
hour,
and
we'll have the
goose pain and
latest
then
on
whatever.
Mayor John Tory proposing
And
to
in reality, like,
fast-track a
I'm just being a
motion
prick.
for all Toronto police officers to be required to wear body cameras. 680 News Time, 5:23.
Cars for Kids hopes that you are all staying safe and healthy. We can and will get through this together. Many of you are probably spending time at home now. Maybe use the time to spring clean, like that old car taking up space in your garage. When you donate your car to Cars for Kids, it can live on by giving kids a chance to succeed. And it can all be arranged from the comfort of your home. No need to go out or do anything in
I'm gonna go find those
person.
little
Can be
fucking cop cars.
contact-free. You'll receive a tax credit. Go to
These guys are GPS
carsforkids.ca
coordinates.
now to
Wow.
donate. Remember, that's Cars with a K.
Heading to the cottage while being safe? It'll be different this year. All right, got the masks and hand sanitizer?
Check.
Our own groceries and supplies?
Check.
What about gloves?
That was 2 months ago.
680 News, cottage country traffic?
Duh. Don't we always?
Starting Friday, before leaving or returning from the cottage, check 680 News, cottage country traffic on the 9th. We're here for you, before, during, and after. This is 680 News.
Horse racing returns at Woodbine Racetrack today.
The pause officially over for horse racing around here. Harness racing returned to Mohawk last night. Woodbine has a full slate today. Of course, lots of COVID-19 restrictions, no fans in attendance, and access heavily restricted to essential staff only. It's also an opportunity to grab the attention of fans craving any live content, especially for those who have had nothing to wager on the last few weeks. Woodbine's Jason Portwando.
We realized it's a great opportunity to get some eyes on us because chances are those eyes would be on other sports.
To help quench the thirst, the new app called Dark Horse was launched to make wagering easier. The big race calendar was moved around. The Queen's Plate, usually run at the end of June, will be in September instead. I'm Simon Bennett.
Your weekend business report coming up next, 680 News Time, 5:25.
Honey, I just got laid off.
Can they do that? Don't they have to give you severance?
My name is Stuart Rudner.
Well,
and
yeah,
at
but
Rudner
it's
Law,
not specified.
we take the
You
time to
get
understand your
that's why I don't
situation and develop a
specify
strategy
that.
to protect your rights. Nobody wants to spend their
I
money on legal
hate
fees.
hearing
But when
that
it
shit
comes to
from
your
white
livelihood,
people.
please don't shortchange
Oh,
yourself.
no, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, and this many ways, this many, no, it's not. Let's say that
Whatever
anyway.
you call them, you'll be glad
Y'all
you
just keep
did.
learning that shit from each other. None of you has a decent job. You're always getting laid off. So I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
New products, visit
You never get it, do you? No, you get the eye and
From the buzziest beauty products and luxe culinary finds to cutting-edge appliances and oh-so-good sweets, thousands of Canadians have voted for the most innovative new products for 2020. The world's largest consumer-voted award for product innovation that recognizes product design, functionality, and packaging. And the products that impressed are yours to behold at productoftheyear.ca.
680 News Time, 5:26. Now, the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Dedman. The COVID-19 pandemic has reshaped the transportation landscape in cities, at least for now. But what is the long-term outlook for cars, buses, trains, ride-hailing, ride-sharing, bicycles, and autonomous vehicles? Scott Corwin with Deloitte Consulting in New York leads its global future of mobility practice. I asked him if the changes we've seen will last.
The big question will be, will people remain in cities? Will cities still be these magnets for talent? Will they be these engines for economic growth? Or will we, for fear of things like this virus, kind of resort to a more distant kind of living arrangement? And that has its own implications that I don't think anyone's really thought through.
Corwin, who was in Vancouver for a Board of Trade Transportation Forum, often speaks of seamless integrated mobility.
Maybe you live
I guess I don't think anybody's side of this. It's too stupid to do the job you have to do. Somebody out there has thought of this.
Or hike to get to your point. And what's starting to happen is there's really
Somebody please bring up this pandemic plan from quote-unquote years ago. How many years ago?
Stitch all that together, consider alternatives.
More like the 1955.
So in a sense, we can get more throughput
epidemic
from a lot of the existing systems.
Yet city and regional governments continue to focus on moving more people on buses and especially trains.
Their capital cost is incredible. They're generally delayed because we have a kind of more adaptive system, if you will, where you can use, autonomous shuttle buses that are electric and cleaner and maybe they're kind of a little more fit for purpose.
Scott Corwin with Deloitte Consulting in the business center.
A train we've been using for like 200 years.
Your home is your sanctuary. The
we need an autonomous electric bus. Look, so can catch fire, and butt up everybody
and we're ready to
with the
help with
acid.
deferred payments and no interest for 18 months on featured air conditioners. And as always, you can count on our next day installation guarantee.
Oh, they don't tell you that a lot about electric cars. They crash, you can't go near them.
Financing OAC. Interest accrues from
Anything's
the
leaking
deferred
out or
period.
anything?
Conditions apply. See website for details.
Keep on top of the world from your home or office. Eton Elite Traveler offers the best performance in radio reception and audio quality and has the looks to match with an elegant leather case and craftsman stitching that signifies style in its finest form. Whether you're listening to a local radio station or signals from a faraway land, make Eton's radios your go-to source. Listen to the world. The Elite Traveler Radio is available online at ca.etoncorp.com.
I need a transparent housing, friends.
Now time for your regional weather conditions. Caledon,
yeah.
clear skies, 14 degrees. Burlington, clear skies, sitting at 18 right now. In Richmond Hill, clear skies, 15. Right now, downtown Toronto, clear skies, 19 degrees. The News Watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. 680 News time, 5:30.
We heard you. This time when you do it, make a pause.
This is 680 News.
Good morning. This is Saturday, June
Looks
the
like old
6th.
guys
I'm Veronica Thor, and I'm Jordan Coulter. Here's what's making news this hour.
With more anti-racism protests planned in the GTA this weekend, Toronto Mayor John Tory says the city is committed to fighting anti-Black racism in the city.
1,000 people marching through downtown Toronto calling for justice.
I don't want to grow up in a racist place anymore.
They marched for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette. The police chief took a knee.
Former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has secured the Democratic nomination for the 2020 presidential election.
We're not permitted to begin operating just yet, but prepare for safe reopening. That's the message from the city of Toronto to restaurants and personal service businesses.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell apologizes while the Raptors might have dodged a bullet. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, we're looking at the fascinating food trend changes amid COVID-19. Canned soup is back. We're also checking in on how restaurants are faring.
680 News time, 5:31. It's time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here's Craig Gear.
Oh, it sure is. This report brought to you by Leon's Furniture. It's a good drive, very nice. Nothing crazy going on. We do have a bit of maintenance that's blocking almost all the lanes on the eastbound 401 through Guelph line. Just east of Guelph line, that's where the construction starts. They're in the two left lanes, tight squeeze, but it's not bad. East 401 ramp to South Allen, that is still closed, as well as the ramps off the eastbound 401 of the 418 and Hope Road. Another stretch where you only have a single lane. Same with the westbound side of the 401, single lane construction through this same zone. The 418 ramp to the west 401's blocked, and the west 401 ramp to Curtis Road's closed. The ramp to Allen Yorkdale is also still blocked. Eastbound and westbound 407 ramps to the southbound 427 still shut down, and the South 427 ramps to and from Finch also blocked off still. Southbound 400 ramp to Aurora Road, that's closed, as well as the ramp to Jane. Just heads up, 3 left lanes and the HOV lane are closed on the southbound 404 still, from south of the 407 down to approaching Finch. But last checked, it's really not causing any problems whatsoever. Leon's anniversary sale is on now. Shop anniversary specials throughout the showroom on furniture, mattresses, and appliances. Shop safely in store or online. Visit leons.ca for details. Next traffic reports at 5:41. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We're likely going to see a sunny start today. A few clouds in the afternoon and a passing rain shower. A high of 24 in the forecast today. Northwest wind up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, but humidity dropping off. Plenty of sunshine to be had. A fairly nice Saturday on the way. Today's high, 24 degrees.
Right now, downtown Toronto, clear skies, 19 degrees. And now taking a look over Toronto Pearson Airport, clear skies, 17 degrees. 680 News Time, 5:33. Close to 1,000 demonstrators, including families, children, and teenagers, marched along Toronto's streets on Friday to support the Black Lives Matter movement. We'll have more on that in a moment.
Families, children, and teenagers. There's 3 ways of saying the same thing.
On Mayor John Tory, who is now revisiting police body cameras. 680's Madison Fitzpatrick.
No, there's adults, okay.
With people looking to authority figures for action, Mayor John Tory says the city is absolutely committed to confronting anti-Black racism in all parts of our city, including the Toronto Police Service. Tory says one action he wants to see is body cameras to be worn by all police officers. He talked to the police chief and board chair about fast-tracking that plan.
Body-worn cameras should be given final approval at the July police board meeting, with a goal of having them placed on our police officers this fall.
Meantime, anti-racism rallies are also set for multiple cities in the GTA this weekend. Saturday in Toronto, a march is to gather at Nathan Phillips Square and Yonge Dundas Square. In Mississauga, a protest will be held in the city's Celebration Square. And on Sunday, organizers in Aurora are set to gather at Yonge and Wellington. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. And a powerful moment yesterday as Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders joined in on Friday afternoon's protest against police brutality and anti-Black racism that wove through the downtown core. 680's Mark Douglas was there.
They were calling for justice for George Floyd and Regis Korchinski-Paquette from Young and Bloor, starting in smaller groups. What grew to be 1,000 people went marching around the downtown
Yeah,
core.
some of us are sick because we got bad blood. Somehow it's blaming for that, but I'm not
to him to
good
take part as a Black Canadian.
I'm looking out for my kids,
for
their future, for anyone who looks or is like me.
It was soon after the start of the 2.5-hour rally when demonstrators got to Yonge and College to be met by Police Chief Mark Saunders, who joined them and took a knee.
It's about getting this right. It's about trust, accountability. It's about saving lives. And so anything that moves towards that, it's a good day in our city.
One of the organizers for the march, Garth Smart James, tells me it was a powerful surprise to see the chief take a knee as he thanks all the police who kept watch over this entirely peaceful protest.
Every officer was involved with, real cool, real amazing, real supportive.
Yeah, for these things they make sure that you fucking idiot. There's
Meanwhile,
no bearing on
protesters continue
the
to gather
average.
in major cities and squares across the United States as mass demonstrations continue against police brutality. Thousands are demanding justice for the death of George Floyd. While the New York Times reported violence between protesters and police, this demonstrator says he holds no ill will towards law enforcement.
Every may be a little rough, but the message is the same. I don't dislike cops, and I have been to prison. I don't hate cops.
What dumbass thing did you do?
I hate bullies. I hate oppressors. And hate is a very strong word, and I know exactly how I'm using it.
You
A
sound
New York
like a
City
white
police
person.
officer who was seen
Not the
on
sound
video
of his
shoving a
voice.
woman to the ground at a
Hey,
George
it's
Floyd
very strong
protest
word.
last
You
week
have
in
not heard some of the
Brooklyn
words
has
we
been
hear.
suspended without pay. The supervisor who was on the scene will be
Why are you being
transferred.
racist to me? Oh, we don't use that word. You're
Police
Dr.
proposed to
fucking
start a
Chu
dialogue
Chow, whatever the
leading
fuck,
to a
half
heated
Chinese.
exchange. Jonathan Yuma
White
from City News is
supremacist
taking a look at how to
Aryan
have
Brotherhood
difficult
security
discussions
guard.
on
We don't use the
racism
word
and what
racist
you
here.
can
We
do
don't
when it's
use that
hard to
word.
find
Oh,
common ground.
I didn't say you
One
use the
Twitter
word.
microphone posted a
I
message
use
saying
the
if you're
word.
tired of
How
hearing
the
about
fuck you
racism,
finish medical
imagine how
school?
tired some people are of experiencing it. He got some insensitive and flat-out inflammatory responses. What makes it more challenging? These are people he grew up with and has even lived with. If I lose friends, I lose friends. It lets me know where they stand on a very important issue like this. If you can't stand with me at a time like this, then I don't need you around. I don't need your negativity.
Yvonne Bakari, CEO of the Canadian Cultural Mosaic Foundation, explains.
See?
Not
You would have said
everybody ready
hate.
to go
I know
there, so
hate
you
is a very
should
strong
try your
word.
best,
You would have
but
said
there
the
are some
exact
people
same thing.
who will evidently cut you off and
It's a
never
strong
want to have
word.
that conversation.
The fuck
Truly,
did you
it's
go?
all about education, not only for others, but for himself as well. I'm Jonathan Nealman.
And big news from south of the border, where Joe Biden
He
has
said, and I have been to
clinched the
prison. Then he
Democratic
said, hate
presidential
is a really,
nomination.
is a strong
The
word,
former
like a
vice
really
president
strong
has
word.
effectively
Hold
been
on,
his
you went to
party's
an
leader
American
since
jail
his
for real?
last challenger
You
in the
think hate is a
Democratic
strong word?
primary,
That's that?
Bernie Sanders, ended his campaign
You don't
in
say,
April.
I hate that place
This
or
is
I hate being there and
77-year-old
nothing like that?
Biden's third
Like,
bid
hold
for
on,
the
that doesn't make no
presidency.
sense.
He now has 1,993 delegates, with contests still to come
You got a
in 8 states and
1993
3
delegate?
U.S. territories. Biden's next step is setting up an election challenge to U.S. President Donald Trump. And speaking of Trump, he's effectively claiming victory over the COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting economic crisis.
It's probably, if you think of it, the greatest comeback in American history.
The president's hailing an unexpectedly good report showing employers added jobs last month instead of cutting millions, as most analysts had predicted.
It's been a beautiful thing to see.
Saying it's proof the steps he's taken to fight the virus have worked. He's long seen economic
anytime that
success
somebody
as
else
this
would have a
ticket to
factory,
another
they can
term.
immediately
He
fill
said
it
an
with 1,000
economic
new employees.
rebound
That
is
don't
also the
necessarily
answer to racial
new
inequality,
jobs.
suggesting George Floyd would
Everything's
be
fucking
happy with
closed.
this news. Joe Biden points out Floyd's last words before dying in police custody were, "I can't breathe."
For the president to try to put any other words in the mouths of George Floyd, I frankly think is despicable.
Sagar Mangani, Washington.
Thinking about that.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. The city of Toronto is officially advising restaurants and personal service businesses like hair and nail salons to prepare for a safe reopening. 680's Michelle Mackey reports.
Still no timeline from the province on reopening these sectors.
Because it's a roadmap, not a calendar.
Has a long list of public health guidelines that will require businesses to modify their operations beforehand.
This includes the need to put space between tables to allow for that physical distancing. Barriers, such as plexiglass, are recommended.
However, Mayor John Tory wants to be clear. These businesses cannot open their doors to the public until the revised order under the Province of Ontario's Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act comes into effect.
But your local restaurant and your hairstylist can review these health guidelines to make sure they are ready to be opened when the time comes.
City staff will be communicating with impacted businesses over the next week individually or through local BIAs. I'm Michelle Mackey.
Gas price update and process. The price did not change at midnight. It's holding at 97.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next. 680 News Time, 540.
Don't rock without it. Don't roll without it. American Express is proud to partner with Budweiser Stage at Home. The iconic waterfront music venue will be transported from downtown Toronto into the homes of Canadians from coast to coast. Don't miss Blue Rodeo with special guest Alan Doyle tonight.